and gentlemen, and welcome to the 468th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am, once again, the Draft King, Travis Snell, and I'm joined by...
The man of madness, Kirklin Patzer. 2 newscasts in a week, and it's just the two of us. That's fun. I feel like that's a rare occurrence. I also chuckle myself because if you're watching this, YouTube stream, whoever is out there, we got a couple in the chat. The image of like the GV, I just realized I'm not even in it. It's like you, Dylan, Taylor, and Jessica, like in the 4 corners. I'm like, was this from like the very first episode that I wasn't a part of? So you guys just like axed me out of the podcast.
Really, is that like? Wait a second. Let me go back here. Okay, so I'm gonna play this again. Okay, we're unmuted, so we can talk. They can hear us.
They can't hear us.
They can't hear us. Yeah. Did I pass it already?
Yeah, we passed it already. Play it again.
Okay. Yes. I don't actually know why there was that. So I think what happened was that was the day when we did, Kirklin used to be the person that would always be iffy if he was going to make it onto the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
Notorious Flaker.
You never made it to the very first podcast ever, and that's when those photos were taken. So those photos were taken because, remember, you have to do the first podcast, you submit it to Apple. Nowadays, it's a lot faster, but back then, it's like you're waiting a few weeks, so we needed, like, cover art. So you weren't there, so that's why it was like, okay, us 4, we took these pictures, we did it, and then that's why you weren't in it. I'm actually surprised it's there. I when I created that video packet, I just looked for, like, the oldest thumbnails and images we had, and that was one of them. And they don't even, I don't think the GeekVerse members even knew I was getting them to do the Joker killing joke pose. Like, that's what that is. Like, the hands but they didn't know it. They had no idea. I remember when we first start, like the first few episodes, when I really, like, we worked at Target, right? And then we all found each other, like, talking geek-related stuff. And then you kind of just assume, you're like, oh, man, these people know everything geek-related. And I remember when I brought up, like, Mark Hamill voicing the Joker to Dylan. He's like, oh, cool. Like, I don't even know who Mark Hamill is. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, he voiced the Joker. And I was like, oh, like, he doesn't know any of this. And then Taylor did and Kirkland did, and I'm like, oh, so we're definitely all geeks, but we are specialized in different avenues. And obviously now we've, I think, mastered it where you only appear on things you know, and we have spin-off shows about those things, but they're very long. I was like, oh, these guys will know everything. And then, like, later on, it's just like, I remember each episode Dylan getting annoyed when we're like, you haven't seen this? You haven't seen this? And it was just like a plethora of movies. So there's a lot of learning period or learning grace in that time of learning one another,
And you're like, who are these fuckers that I chose to start a podcast with? They don't know shit about anything.
I should have started it with someone else from Target. So many people were offering me. I'm like, you play video games?
Offers,
I went up to people and I'm like, you play video games? He's like, no.
But
like, I still, every day at work so far, I've bugged him about that. So go listen to last episode. But yeah, 2 newscasts because Taylor right now, as we speak, is watching the Magnificent Fantastic Beasts 3. I don't know if it's magnificent because it's, I don't know if it's fantastic either. I've not seen it. I'm seeing it tomorrow. There'll be a review dropping at some point this weekend. We're going to try and see if we can get Jessica on because obviously she's very busy with the 2 kiddos. So we're trying to, if not, it might just be a Taylor and Travis sandwich. But Taylor will be back for newscast next week because he's getting 2 newscasts off. That's a big no-no, in our small business agreement. So he's in big trouble.
That's like 2 strikes. He's almost losing his shares.
Well, well, we said that you miss one more newscast, you're out. All those shares come to us. So check out, we got lots of reviews popping off. We will, so this episode will actually be dropping, other than the people watching live for patrons, this will be dropping on Monday, so you got that going on. But this weekend, so the Beast review I guess is already out for you guys, and then the other reviews, you guys just did Halo. You guys ignored my comment about Halo's dick.
No, we didn't. I brought it up. I brought it up later.
Okay,
it was like right at the end. I made sure to make a comment of it.
Then I'll listen to it. But yeah, go listen. Kirklin and Dylan return to the Halo review series. I will at some point. I might in the back end, or we might do it we're working on something for Patreon, so we'll see. But I guess it's just that hump now, especially now when I keep missing them. It's like, man, now I'm up to 3 episodes that I gotta binge together, and that's where it gets difficult. When it's like, oh, I only got 1, I only got 2, but it's like 3 and then 4. S-Bub says, so this early episode. Yes, if you watch live, that's why it's always a good thing to watch live. Yes, it is an early episode. It'll be dropping on the feeds on Monday, and Patreon you'll get it right away as well. But yeah, we're just recording because why I'm saying that is because when we're recording this, we already have Halo dropping in the world that you guys did, and then also we'll have the non-spoilers review of Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Kirklin, I know you're iffy. Go see the movie.
No, yeah, you guys convinced me. High praise, and I was kind of on the fence already. I wanted to see. I'm a huge fan of Pedro, and like decent enough.
He's incredible. He's incredible. They're both good, but Pedro is fucking like he legitimately.
Who does he play as? Like, what's his cast? Is he supposed to be like his agent or something, or just Pedro? Because
he's not Pedro. Just watch it. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Like he is
Good
the
answer.
co-lead of the movie. He's the co-lead of the movie. I'll say
Yeah.
that. And he's so good that like I'm. Obviously, we got a whole year, but I'm very much gonna be fighting for him for Golden Geeks next year. Like he's that good in it. Like man, he needs to do more comedies. Good. He's so damn good.
That's awesome to hear because I feel like, he's in Mando, but I feel like everything other than that lately that I've seen of him, I haven't loved. Like
Wonder Woman.
Like he's good in it, but just the overall project I haven't loved. So
he could be in better material, is what you're kind of saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Wonder Woman, he was so good in that role, but that role wasn't a super big, at least to what I was expecting of the movie, and the movie just was kind of bad.
See, and it's funny though. Like
Triple Frontier, go check out that review.
Right, I forgot
I had someone at work bring up that movie. They're like, "Have you heard of this movie?" I'm like, I think I did a review for that actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Ben Affleck.
There's so many movies when I look back, I'm like, man, there's a movie I can't even remember what it was called. It was John Goodman.
It Steel with Shaq?
No, it's not Steel. Yeah, not Steel. There's a movie so the guy that directed the original Planet of the Apes, like obviously, so he did the first. Not the original. The original, yeah, the guy that directed the '60s version. No, the guy that directed like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He did that. What?
Dawn of the Planet? Is it Dawn of the Planet?
No, Dawn and War is what Matt Reeves did. So this guy did the first of the reboots, and he left, and then Matt Reeves took over. And Matt Reeves, like a great director, so he made it great. He did the Batman and everything. But he did this other movie, and of course, my fucking IMDb is not loading at all. But it was like some alien
Rupert
movie.
Wyatt.
Yeah, Rupert Wyatt. Can you look at his filmography? What he's directed? It's an alien movie, and it's like Red something or Code something or like. Either way. It's a movie that at one point I had like free passes to the movie theater. I mean, Emily just like went to go see it. We saw it like a Sunday afternoon, and there was absolutely nobody in the theater. So we still managed to have like a good time watching this film. But it was like, it was like a fine film. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. Just fine. And it popped in my head the other day. I was like, man, I reviewed this film, and that's why nowadays we still review a lot, but we're a bit more picky and choosy because we go with what our audience is and what we know is going to do good or whatnot. Do you have the title of that?
With you said John Goodman was in it?
Yeah.
Is it The Gambler?
No.
Okay. There is Captive State. He says he's a producer though.
Captive State, I think that's it. Is the poster like red or does it have something red on it?
Yeah, it's like an alien. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
this is no longer our planet.
Yeah.
You reviewed this?
I did. I reviewed this because I was like, oh, it might be a little. And that's the always thing too. You never know. Like I remember when
Jonathan Majors is in there. Look at this cast.
Oh, I forgot he was in there. Yeah, but it's one of those you never know what movies are gonna pop, right? And what reviews are gonna pop. So nowadays we are a bit more selective. But yeah, which is a good thing. I love that we've been doing it, but we're coming on 7 years in August, and there's just so much stuff we've talked about, so much news. Like I'd love someone to start going back and like listening chronologically and just the things we've talked. Like here's the other thing. Don't look it up. Do you remember what the Switch's code name was? Me and Emily were talking about this the other day. Remember?
Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, but remember for like 2 years because we were always talking about the news and the rumors. It had a code name of something. It was like not Gen X, but it was like, oh man, I'll look it up right now.
You said don't look it up.
Well, we both don't know, so now I have to look up the NX. The NX, yes. Thank you. That's
a cool name, actually.
It was, yeah. And we thought it was like, oh, Nintendo Next and stuff. It was wild. We talked about that for so many years. Like we've been through so much of content and movies and everything, and it's just crazy.
If you listen to the episodes from that time, I'm just absolutely shitting on the Switch, saying how I'm never ever gonna get one.
Yep.
Look at me now, got my Switch.
Look at you now. But
change.
But either way, tie it all back to Pedro Pascal. Definitely go check out A Massive Town. Check out so what we're doing is the non-spoilers reviews up, and then next week we'll drop the spoilers version, record those back to back. But yeah, and hey, look at this. Like I said, I don't think you've played the video games, but still, I don't care. I'll do them alone. But Last of Us next year with Pedro, that's going to be something really good. You talk about something that's going to show off his quality, his true quality. I think that if it's the same quality of the story of the games, I think Pedro is going to be sinking his teeth into that one. So
yeah, I've seen some leaked photos on that one, and I think I was like 70% done the first game, so I should just jump in there, finish it, and then.
You're never gonna do that. You're never gonna do that though.
Well, not with that attitude. Maybe, well,
you're gonna dust off the PS4, boot up.
Is it
Last
necessary to like play through both games for the show? I can't imagine it takes place at the end of the second game. It probably just
but they're gonna
the
get
game.
there. I think they're gonna get there.
There you go. I have time.
Yeah, you have time. Yeah. Well, but
I'll be Red Dead 2 in that time too.
But it's oh god, you still gotta get to the horse in the snow, But like with Last of Us, I feel like they might get to the first season in that. Or the first game, the first season, maybe. So you got to be careful, but they'll change some stuff, like Halo. It's going well for Halo apparently.
Fuck, yeah, don't get me going. I just
same
was
showrunners
about that for 2 hours. Same showrunners.
I'm joking. It's not the same showrunners.
I know you are. I'm just angry. The possibility of that happening.
But yeah, go check that out. Head down the feeds below, or we got everything there. Podcast Network, they got 6 shows a week right now, covering a whole wides of other geek topics as well. Always for Marvel Alliance. Always stay tuned to the end credits because you never know who might pop up randomly. And then our podcast feeds, Side Quest, the review feed, retrospective feed, news feed, everything, or just this feed. If you like everything we do, it's here. And Patreon. We pretty much got a date. Look for social media. At this point, a date should probably go out there, but I'm thinking next weekend for the patrons, so you're listening up. But that's our call-in show, so we always have a good time. So you get to call in. We just shoot the shit for 2 hours. I'm excited to talk to everybody about movies. And at that point, I'm hoping some of them, because they'll be after Northman if we do pull up that After 9. So I hope some of them will have seen that. So yeah, check out After 9. It's always a fun time. Anything, no holds barred. We talk about everything and everything. I definitely want to grill Taylor about his Discord post about you saw this whole thing with the Jurassic World spoilers thing, right? He tagged this photo. Have you seen this?
No.
So I will save it
today because I was in the Discord.
No, it was in this week.
Too.
It was in this week. So I'll save it for next week after 9. He got in some shit from the Discord people because I don't know, fun shit. But he posted something that he thought was a spoiler. And
I'm seeing it. Do I click on the spoiler or should I wait till?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine, but it's not even that one. No, now he's making fun of himself now. But earlier, he here's the pitch for After 9. Why you need to listen. It was a picture of Laura Dern with a dinosaur, and he posted it in our Discord, the GV community Discord. Check that out with a spoiler text. That means it's blurred out, and then below he's just like, "Man, these stills of Jurassic World are great." And I looked at him like, it's just a picture of Jurassic World. Like, why is this a spoiler? And then when I started to bug him on Twitter, like someone else posted, like, man, Taylor Mass is a spoiler. And then some random people started to chime in. So I definitely want to get everyone's thoughts. Because in the Discord, it was like, what are you doing? Like, this is not a spoiler, Taylor. We've seen these pictures all before. But he's, I don't know, just in case anybody thinks it is. And so I'll grill him on that. After 9, coming back. Phase 2 higher tiers. Join us. More you support us, more content you get. Let's look at. So we got pretty Marvel DC centric show, but we got Doctor Strange predictions, the Doctor Strange draft, and then a smaller / maybe mini big topic we're going to talk about. There was an article that came out Variety about the new owners of Warner Brothers planning on doing a DC overhaul, and of course everybody's completely fine with that. But yeah, we will. Where are we? So. Doctor Strange. So let's just start with we are 3 weeks away at the time this recording. Yeah, we're only 3 weeks away.
The other day I had like a mini panic. I'm like, I gotta get my tickets. Oh no! And I check. I'm like, oh okay, no, we're good. I'm like prime seating too, right in the middle of the theater.
I saw, because
you saw me in there.
Well, I did to creep because I was like, did Kirklin really go to the 3D showing? So that's why I clicked to see. And you always have an entourage in here. Every time I get these tickets, you still got like 4 or 5 people. You know,
got my crew. It's just me there too. I'm just that asshole. It's just like I don't want anyone sitting next to me.
Those are mine.
Yeah,
they're mine. Okay, sir.
It's like a birthday party and one kid doesn't have a seat. No, that's mine.
Yeah, you sit up
on
the front,
2 bags
little
of
Billy.
popcorn. Yeah, I gotta confirm. Jeez, I've just been. This week's been wild. I've been up late doing first Moon Knight review, and then last night I was watching Halo, so my mind's just in another place. I can't remember if I actually changed the seat to the 2D one, because yeah, you brought it to my attention. I got the 3D one, which I definitely don't prefer, and then. Oh no, yeah, it's coming back to me now. I asked my buddy. I'm like, I got the 3D one. Is that a game breaker? I kind of like the extreme theater because I don't really want to see Multiverse of Madness in just the standard one. I like the full audio, especially since I've only really been going to the extreme theater. It's not IMAX or anything, but just the audio in there is next level. And it's so good that they fixed the seats, because the seats used to be terrible in that theater, and now they're a lot better. But
see, Emily thought the same thing. I am on the complete opposite, where I do not like the seats anymore. They're not as bad as the Vernon ones, but
really,
I prefer the old ones so much. They're a bit more thicker.
they were
These
so
ones
like
have
square. They
but
had
these
no
ones have that
form.
weird thing where you have to sometimes like bounce to make sure you don't lean back. You're like, oh, it's like a fucking rocking horse. Like I just want to sit in a normal chair where I'm not like having like brace myself so I don't move. You know, it's like fuck. Like I
The
hate
seat's
those.
just broken. You get the
Yeah.
same seat every time you go. Just like the one broken chair. in the
Yeah,
whole
that's
thing.
it. No, the Vernon ones are really bad because when I watch Batman, of course, I'm seeing Doctor Strange there because like, oh, I could see it early. Like I have to literally like put my feet under a seat so I won't move back and
wow.
stuff. It's really annoying. The Clone ones aren't that bad. You just gotta shift your weight, or the West Clone ones, but. Yeah,
Yeah.
But so you're sticking with the 3D?
I am sticking with the 3D for. It's one of those movies. I'm sure I'll be seeing it multiple times too. Shay's working that night, so she won't be able to see it right away. So we'll
There you
definitely have to go back for round 2 and then just see it at the standard theater. But yeah, no, I'm like dead center. I'm got my entourage, as you saw. I don't even check with my friends either, like these days, because they just take too long to respond sometimes. So I just buy 4 tickets at a time. I'm like, okay, well, if Shay's not working, then one of my other friends is just getting cut. That's just the way she goes sometimes. But no, it worked out.
And refunds are so easy nowadays.
Yeah,
you know, even though you have to, you know, use the websites for the movie clubs and everything. But
that would be my last purchase through the Atom app. Now was Multiverse Madness, unless they incorporate like the new pass thing through there, which I sure hope they do, because it's so handy, Atom, and it's not like a game breaking thing, but I just like how it like shows my history of movies I've seen, and then especially like the fan ones that I've seen. Like it even has like the special poster on there. It's like, oh yeah, good memory there. And just seeing like Infinity War and Endgame, it's like, fuck man, what an experience those were.
Oh, I know. Well, speaking of what I experienced, like I said, 3 weeks from now we got Multiverse Madness. Now I gotta start where we always start with is box office. So I was trying to look and find where here we go. I think 6 days ago the projected opening for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Blah 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 blah. Thank you, Variety. Let's see. So I think this was the tracking someone put up. But anyway, so the tracking was seemingly to put up anywhere from 150 to what was it? 150 to 200 million. So to put that
weekend,
to put that in perspective, obviously Spider-Man had 260. The next biggest one after that was the Batman with 130. After that was Venom, and then I think it could be I don't know if actually Sonic beat one of the MCU ones, but it's like a mix of Sonic, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and stuff like that. Like I think Black Widow still might have it over Sonic because maybe it was like 74 or something. Is Kirklin crunching numbers there?
I'm just crunching numbers right now. I'm definitely not looking it up.
So yeah, go ahead.
So this isn't just this year. This is like all time.
Oh yeah, we don't want those. Yeah. Well, it's tough now. Before it was easy when you search pandemic because it was just like last year when movies came back. But now that we've bled into this year. But either way, after like Spider-Man is clearly number 1 and Batman's clearly number 2, and then number 3, 4, 5, 6 are all like a mix of different kind of Marvel movies and now Sonic and everything like that. So it's tough for me because I've gone back and forth where like I for a while did not think Spider-Man No Way Home was going to hit $1 billion, and then right away, like when we got closer, I'm like, you know what, I think it is. I think last week I was like, maybe in our official predictions I said no, but when we got closer, I'm like, you know what, it's gonna. Just the hype was building, and with Batman I thought that again, and it didn't happen. It's gonna probably crack around like the 740, 750 mark, which is still great success for it. But as I was talking about last newscast, I just think that was a result of the people in my camp, not only in podcasting camp, but just in real life being so excited for it. No Way Home, it's like everybody was excited for that. Plus, like it's No Way Home had bunch of returning characters and villains and like the rumors of Toby and Andrew, where as great as the Batman is, and I still, if you put a gun to my head, I would prefer the Batman over No Way Home. It's like the Batman can't compete with that. You know, there's like no way as far as that sort of nostalgia. So I'd say my box office like tracking for this year has not been good. Last year was really good because I'd be like, oh, Shang-Chi would come just under Black Widow but not beat it, blah blah. So like last year I was doing better, except for Venom 2. Venom 2 fucking rocked me because I did not think I'd beat a bunch of MCU movies. So this whole 150 to 200 number, it's tough because with Spider-Man I think I took like a lower projection, went higher, and then with the Batman I took a higher projection, went lower. So I feel like if we're looking at the barometer of Spider-Man is 260, it's definitely not going to hit that. Obviously, even these projections right now are saying 200 million. And what I go by when I was looking at Kirkland's seat, I was also looking at other seats too, where I feel like, so with No Way Home, that was legitimately like you would look at the theaters and almost everything would be sold or was sold out, like early on. Where right now, right now, like I'm going to pull up a screening right now of Doctor Strange where I feel like the theaters are full. It's like almost all the good seats are gone, but it's like, oh, if you wanted to like sneak on a side seat, if you wanted to see it Thursday night, you could. Like that's the way it was. So let's go
you
Thursday.
You just might have neck problems because you're fucking front and center.
Yeah.
Why do they even make seats that close? Like, come on, that can't be good for you.
Even your extreme screen, the seating where you're at, where Kirkland has some great seats, there's like 4 seats to the right of him, where it's like, yeah, it's to the right, but it's still in the middle, and there's still tons on the side. I just want to go to Kelowna right now. That's where I'm at. Let's see. So let's go the 630 non-3D. Yeah, da. So same thing. It's like, so almost all there's some side seats, but I'd say like the first 3 rows have nobody, and then the 4th row has 2 people, then the rest are all like sold out. So I'd say like most of the screenings I've seen look like they're like a 70-75% full, where Spider-Man No Way Home was like, wherever you can sit, you're sitting. Like, remember fucking tickets being sold for like thousands of dollars or whatever stupidly. So I feel like if Spider-Man Home like blew past the projections, I'm gonna say it's gonna be like 185. Like actually, I'm gonna go really specific. I'm gonna go 192. I don't know why. I don't think it's gonna get to 200 million, but I feel like it's gonna be close. I feel like it's gonna be higher than the Batman, just because again, it has that hype. And even then, it's kind of doing not the same as Spider-Man, but we were joking about this offcast. People know like that's Patrick Stewart. I know they're saying like, oh, we don't know, could be an interpretation or what was they say, ventriloquist and stuff like. No, like we know it's him. People, and the good thing is between Loki, between Spider-Man No Way Home, and between other things, now the general audience I think really knows like whether that's a good or bad thing. The word multiverse means weird shit and cameos. Like they know what that means now. So when DC uses it, everything like that, the word multiverse maybe 5 years ago, people were like, oh, I don't know. But now it's been talked about so much, even
jammed down our throats.
Yeah, even little things like what if, it's like set up for it. So I think people know crazy stuff. I will say I'm kind of surprised with, we're going to talk about, because people, if they are listening, we're going to do a cameo draft at the end of this, but other Marvel characters we think could appear in this that are played by other actors. But I will say, if there's tons of cameos in this movie, I'm excited to talk about the review after. I feel like they've like held back quite a bit, because with No Way Home, sure, they held back Tobey and Andrew, but they still showed off Jamie Foxx, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Yeah, sure, there's the other ones.
Don't forget about the lizard.
Yeah, there's the other ones. But those three were the biggest. So the fact that they had like 3 big guns they showed off, this is just strange showing. And again, it's not going to beat Spider-Man, so that may be the case. But I am surprised that they've not shown us even like another cameo or another sort of like, even if it was like a Captain Carter, even if it was somewhere it's like, oh, you've seen them in What If, you know them.
Someone safe.
But, yeah, exactly. But they haven't. They've been playing it close to chest, and I think they're going for that long game of they want that word of mouth. I think it's going to be a Spider-Man where it's going to keep making money. I think people will like the movie, and I think they're going to come up being like, you got to see this before you get spoiled. So I'm sitting at like 192, just under 200 million.
For No Way Home, that was all Sony, right, doing the trailers on that stuff?
I think it was I think there was like Sony gets final say, but I think Feige and company were definitely still like, hey, like maybe hold this back. It was I'd say a joint effort, but still Sony, they could, and they go, hey, it's our movie, we're going to show off Tobey and Andrew if they wanted to, right?
Surprising they didn't, honestly.
No, they didn't.
Things that they just spoiled in the past, but yeah, it is really interesting. Because there's so many possible like characters thrown into this movie that I feel like on one hand, it's pretty easy for them to just show a couple if they have so many that they're going to be showing. Mm-hmm. But also, I don't think they have to like at all. I think the lead ups from like the Disney Plus shows, I guess more specifically WandaVision and Loki, I feel like enough people saw those that like it's not really a trailer for Multiverse of Madness, but like it's enough promo right there of just everything that's leading up to it. So they don't really have to show their cards in this regard. I think the Patrick Stewart one was very surprising to just see like an X-Men character, a mutant on there, and then B, just really shocking. Like that's not anything I would have expected, and probably majority of people.
Because he's also an A tier one. Like, we'll talk about some of the cameos, but like, if you have someone from that Fantastic Four movie, or if you had like a Ghost Rider, those are all fun. But Patrick Stewart is like one of the. If you had, there's definitely an
franchise staple for X-Men.
Exactly.
Like
yeah, and that's where it's like that is a big thing. I think if people like, okay, if they're showing us this, what do they have as like a surprise? Even though I think it could be the reverse where. But there's
showed too much. It's like just Stewart. That's the only cameo.
Imagine that.
This draft is just garbage that we're about to do.
They cut out every cameo. Well, remember that there was that feeling of like, well, what if Toby and Andrew aren't in it? And that's where lots of people I still see be like, yeah, all these cameos are rumored, but what if like none of these fuckers are in it and everything like that? But again, it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. We're definitely seeing some stuff, so.
No, absolutely.
Before you answer the box office question, S-Pub says, will you get another cameo shown in a TV spot for the movie releases 1 week before the example? I don't think so, no. I think what would have been the time is when they had the tickets are on sale and they released that 1 minute like featurette of just, they released two things. They released like a minute of just like, it's like pretty much an extended TV spot. And then I think it was a few days after that, they released like the behind the scenes featurette and they didn't show any of that. Like to me, another safe one, I know it's immune, but to me, another safe one was like something like a Deadpool. I thought, oh, they could easily show that and people would be like, fuck, Deadpool's in this movie. That's going to be fun. So I honestly don't think so. I think they would have shown it with that tickets go on sale. The same way No Way Home, their last trailer for No Way Home, didn't show us Toby and Andrew, but it showed us a lot more of the villains in action. Like it showed us Defoe in the Green Goblin suit instead of just the bomb. I think they would have showed it off the days this went on ticket. And here's the other thing. For some reason, let's say if ticket sales if they weren't happy with the, projections right now, maybe they would just say, hey, maybe drop a teaser that like has this character or has this character in it. But I think tickets are going pretty well that they don't feel the need to do that.
Yeah, it's. I find it interesting that you think Deadpool would be a safe cameo to throw in there. I feel like they want to save that, and if it is revealed in the movie, I feel like it's going to be a big cheer moment across the world in those theaters. Yeah. People are going to be losing their shit that we finally are getting more Deadpool. It's been so long since the last Deadpool movie. What year was that?
2019.
2019.
Years.
Okay.
Same year as
Endgame.
No, I think you might be right with 2018. Maybe it was Infinity War, actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. So it's been 4 years. No, the reason why I guess it's safe to me is because I feel like the people they're going to be using going forward or the people that they have plans for potentially, those to me are more safe than the one-offs, like the Patrick Stewarts where it's like, hey, this may be this is probably the last time you see him as Xavier. I know we thought that of Logan, but like with Logan was... He was different. I think technically he'll be playing different Xavier, and like I'm not trying to be morbid, but he is an older gentleman, right? I'd be completely fine if like, oh, he's Xavier and he's going to be appearing again in the future. Cool. But I just feel if you look at everything, it might be his last time. So I feel like those big ones, like a Ben Affleck's Daredevil, like you don't show that off because that's more to me, it's not shocking when you see Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool because they're literally making a Deadpool 3 right now. They're in pre-production. Okay. Where like if you were to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, it's like, well, fuck, he has nothing going on. He just appeared,
Yeah. Okay. Good clarifying. Back to your initial question about the box office prediction. Yeah, it's crazy just looking at like some of these numbers, like just the ones I have on my screen is like Star Wars, Jurassic World. I can't believe Jurassic World was 208. I know that's pre-pandemic and everything, and just like that's
the first one.
That's
right?
the first one.
Yeah.
It's same effect of like what Force Awakens had of just like refreshing or bringing new life to the franchise and just like the epicness scale. But like those numbers are just so crazy to me compared to like where we are in the pandemic era, and then just thinking of what No Way Home did in the pandemic era, it's just fucking incredible.
What I was gonna ask though is Force Awakens, it's higher than Jurassic World, right?
Yep.
How much higher is it?
Force Awakens is 247.9 million, and then Jurassic World is 208.
2A. Okay, so almost like almost 30 million difference there. No, yeah. I was just wondering because what to me is really impressive about Jurassic World, and I do actually quite like the first one. What's impressive about that is Force Awakens had some of that old cast they were showing off. Jurassic World didn't have that. That was just the name, the park. So I will be very curious. Like as much as I did not like that second one, I do think this third one is going to do massive fucking bank. Like having Sam Neill, Jeff Bridges. What the fuck am I thinking of? Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, like bringing not just having one of them back, but all three of them back. And it's like the good thing is it looks like they're in the Tobey and Andrew role, where it's not like, oh, they're just there to like make an appearance. Like something. It looks like they're like in the movie. So the fact that Jurassic World did that without even the original cast being back, and now they're back, I'm not saying it's gonna break that record, but I would not be surprised if it broke the Jurassic World record, like having that OG cast back. That's going to be massive. Because everyone wants to see that. Even if that movie's shit, you want to see those three OG people back together again, you know? So
it's probably like the main thing that's getting me in the theater. I
100%.
absolutely hated the second one. It'll be, I'm not even like the biggest fan of those like trilogy characters, but just for the nostalgia effect, it's going to be so great to have them in their little archaeologist outfits and just, deal with dinos.
So I'll ask you this easy one then. Does it beat the Batman at 130 plus?
I think so. The number I had in my mind was around 150. You said 180? Is that what you said?
I said 192. I went up to 175, 180, 192.
Specific.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do 152 then. I don't know. Like, that's still a big number. It's just, I don't know, like, because the main arguments in my mind that's pushing on why it would be a big number is just, okay, everybody's loving these Disney Plus shows. These shows are basically leading up, not all of the shows, but like the big ones like Loki, WandaVision. Look at me just like putting some dirt on the other shows. They're all good. They're all relevant. Some are just leading to different things. But I feel like Wanda and Loki are like the big of those Disney Plus shows.
They're the breadwinners.
They're like direct tie-ins to this movie.
Yeah.
The trailers have been absolutely just mind twisty. They're very different from like where we've been in the Marvel universe so far. And I think all of like that stuff is very, very exciting to not just us, but like the general audience members. So that's what's pushing me up the list on why I think it would do really well. But my pushbacks would, I guess, be, I don't even know really. Like I in this movie, I see it as a lot darker. It's still Marvel though. It's not going to be, it's obviously not R-rated. So like, people can bring their kids and everything on it, but it doesn't have that same like family type feel to it, which I feel would be another push on why it would be a bigger number. I don't know. I think I'm just being safe here. You gave the wild number with 192. I'm just gonna be that $1 guy. Just like, give me $1, Bob. Give me 152, Bob. I'll take that. It's still phenomenal, but.
Yeah, if we were going Price is Right rules, I'd be more like 175 and stuff like that, because like I feel like I could be too high. But again, I just don't know, because it all depends to me on what that reception is. And obviously, they're doing the Force Awakens thing where they're letting critics see it on the Tuesday and reviews are coming out the Wednesday. So they're not letting critics see it really late. So they don't want things spoiled at all and stuff like that. So
which means it's gonna be bad, right? Isn't that what they usually?
Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah,
that's what they usually mean.
No, that's why there's a few exceptions to the rules in Force Awakens, and this would be one of those exceptions, everything like that. But no, I think there's gonna be lots of good word of mouth for it, So
absolutely, and I think I am on the low end there. I think even your low number, I think it would surpass that.
Maybe 175.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at Spider-Man No Way Home, 260 opening, like and I'm saying it's gonna be less than 100 million, or sorry, 100 million less than that. I feel like it'll be more. So maybe 160. I'll adjust it just because I think it'll at least
still 100 million. That's still 100 million less.
Okay, 162.
Yeah, before you were at 110 million less.
162, Bob. That's my final one. I'll go with that.
Right. Well, no, I think lots of people are going to be talking about this. Lots of people are going to be having a good time, just the same way that people are having a good time with Manscaped. Look at those perfect images right in the middle. Man, a big shout out to
Gold edition.
I was going to say, whoever is Manscaped, if you're listening right now, which I know you are, if you're listening, you guys got the same photographers that like apparently shoot the McDonald's fries, because these bottles, like, I like all the products you guys have given us. Like, some of these are really great. Like, but like this picture, it just makes these look like these are the golden god gifts of like shampoos and everything like that.
Literally, yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
they're
like those
just
Ferrero Rocher commercials where it's like the chocolates for the gods. This is like the body the manscaping materials for the gods, literally.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Just like those McDonald's fries, and just like these bottles, the fries again, they taste good. The bottles, everything, the Ultimate Premium Collection just hits home. It's so good. We're excited to announce that this was last month, but still, they have launched their Ultimate Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not so private parts. I'm talking about leveled up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit, everyday man, and covers you from head to toe. Literally. Manscaped is a trusted below the waist. Now trust them with the rest. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com using our podcast code GVPOD, getting 20% off and free shipping. And yeah, like we've talked about before, I keep saying summer's coming up, but these have been nice. We've talked about it before as well, that these guys have some really good scents, because that's always honestly my biggest worry is I never want to smell too much like a dude, bro. And anytime there's like a man smell, or like this one, when I was like, oh, if Manscaped's making this and they got man in the title, like, could this be an issue? Are they gonna go for that dude bro scent? And no, you have like a good kind of just the best way to describe it is like a good mixture of all the flavors. And you've mentioned it before. I'm gonna point out right here. This I'm not actually see if they can't see my mouse, so I don't know why I'm doing that. But the deodorant I love, just like we talked about the 4.0, how that's like the way the blades are glided, how it's like has that good handhold. The way people talk about back to the fries when they eat food and they talk about a good mouthfeel. Manscaped's products, between the bottles, the deodorants, the 4.0, stuff like that, they always got like a good feel. The plow, same thing. The plow, one of my favorite, just to the back of my hair, because I'm considering, I don't know, Kirklin, I might be cutting in the next little while. I gotta decide. We got family photos coming up, and I just haven't decided. Do I want long hair? Do I want the black hair? It does, but I definitely want, I think, shorter hair for summer, because it's just, that hot weather. But that's why.
And then you get out of the lake and you just do that hair flip, and it goes all over like a model.
Yeah, but you gotta think about, like, I always had this hair for a while. I had the long blonde hair for a while. Like, I've had long hair for the past like couple summers, so I'm maybe ready to switch it up. And that's why the good thing, while I'm switching up, I got all these great scents that I could be using. And like I said, the deodorant stink, I just love it. You get at the angles, it's nice. Has that nice screw. Yeah. And
the ergonomic feel in the hand. It's like I'm holding a lightsaber, and then like regular deodorant, you just pop the cap off. It's like a little twist, and it just the shape and everything. It's very unique. I've never seen a deodorant have that shape, and it's very nice. It fits the pit very cleanly.
Well, I keep saying this. Every time Manscaped gives a new product, I'm so excited to try it or see it, because all their products, when we tried them out, they were good, but they're also just unique and had different things going on about them. And I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, okay, how different can these guys be? Just like the shampoo, the deodorant, but no, they knock it out of the park. So Manscaped, you got to use that pod code, because like I said, Kirklin, you want to be like, whether I got short hair or long hair, I want to be smelling good in summer, because there's going to be those days when we're, Kelowna heat, 40-degree weather, and we're just going to be sweating. Thank God I'm going to have some like Reviver going on. I'm going to have a bunch of Manscaped products to get me through it, and I think you'll be doing the same.
No, absolutely. I'm always looking forward to my manscaping sessions, and it's the best part about their stuff is that it's not even like it's reserved for those manscaping sessions. Like deodorant, use that every single day. My lip balm, I have that. It's like I have a holster, and I never leave home without a Manscaped lip balm. They're so nice, and just constantly licking my lips in this cold weather. It's supposed to be spring, and we're just getting fucking lied to because it's freezing cold here.
-3 it was today here. -3.
Yeah, come on. Like, what is this stuff? It's supposed to be springtime. But luckily, I got my lip balm, so whenever the wind is tearing apart my lips, I can just coat them with some nice Manscaped lip balm. And that has a really nice flavor, too. It's not overpowering. And I like what you said about, like, the flavors. I feel like I left the barber shop, and I'm just, like, ready. It's like I'm ready to, like,
feel refreshed.
Step on set, and I just feel like I was just in, like, hair and makeup, and I just am ready for the scene, Like, it's just... I don't know how else to describe it. I just feel ready, and yeah. And then just the quality of the packaging on the bottles and everything. If the burglars come in the bathroom while I'm just randomly showering, I just have a weapon right there. Like it's very sturdy and like
that type of comment. Okay, I was like, what do you do? Is this some sort of porno? Like, oh no, you're here for my Manscaped product? and then you start lathering up. But no,
Make
like
sure to check out our next Manscaped ad shot in my
fake
bathroom.
porno. That'd be great. But no, I love the stainless steel like materials and stuff like that. It's great. But yeah, and funny enough, that story I told the other day about the guy who mixed up the video game. Like, do you play video games? That guy at work, he said no. He was asked about the Manscaped. I got my dad in. I've had a couple other people. They keep asking me because I feel like they're like, at first they're like, okay, yeah, it's just a sponsor. But then I'm still talking about, I'm still using it, and that's a good thing. Like, it's always good product. And then the other people that I know that I've used the code get it, and they start talking about like, okay, maybe I should start, maybe I should look into this because they've just heard nothing but good things. And I can promise you, like, it's all great stuff.
No, and that's what's actually exciting at work is like maybe I'll mention someone that like, you know, go check out Manscaped, use GVPOD, and then I'm hearing them like spread the word to other people without me even in the conversation because they're just so happy with their products, and it's just such a nice wide like variety of products. It's not limited to. I feel like when I initially heard about them like years ago, I was probably listening to a podcast with myself, and it was really just like the lawnmower, and you know now we're at 4.0. That was probably like the 1.0 days, and now we got the body wash, the lip balm, the deodorant, the body spray. I got my boxers on right now.
Oh,
you know,
the boxers and shirt are great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
So go use that podcast code. Jeez, that podcast code for us.
On all your Podio feeds.
Yeah, on your Podio feeds. I forgot about the Podio feeds. GVPod gets you 20% off and free shipping. So go do that right now. Enjoy some Manscaped. Let's take another ad break here, and then we're going to talk about more predictions. And we're back. So, Kirklin, I rudely cut you off because I thought you were done, but you're going to say something when we're talking about podcasting. Because I had a line. I'm like, okay, I'm going to say this and go right into Manscaped. And
it was clean.
Yeah, I was going. You know?
Do you remember what we were talking about before?
We're talking about box office, the 175 versus the 160, Jurassic World, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's escaped me, unfortunately. It probably wasn't that big. It was probably some random meme thing that I was
okay. Well, if it's big, bring it back. Now, one thing you were talking about, let me grab my phone here. So at what you can do on Patreon is at any tier when you support us, you can send in questions, comments, topics, everything like that, thoughts, concerns, your Manscaped experience, everything like that, for newscasts that we are doing. So Bo, I won't give your last name because I don't know if you want that given or not, but they sent us a question that said, what's the timeline relationship with this movie and Loki? When Strange breaks through the multiverse in the film, is that supposed to be the same moment as the Loki finale? It's so tough, right? Because it's one of these things where I hate to say it, but there's part of me that thinks like it might have nothing to do. Like Loki might be a small thing because we thought about this, right? Where we were like, okay, when the Loki finale, I think is still great. I reminisce all the time about the man at the end of time, whatever, Kang. I'm just gonna call him Kang. Like I love that finale so much. I just remember MCU being like, man, they just stuck the landing so well here after a little few kind of lackluster finales. But I remember when that happened and they show all the timelines splintering off and everything like that, right? Went, oh man, well, this is how everyone in Spider-Man ends up in this universe, right? This is what happens. And it's like, well, no, Peter and Strange did a spell completely on the side that had nothing to do with it, right? So I think we all, and it could be, but the other things that keep being hidden in this trailer is especially as Baron Mordo, who's just like, your desecration of reality will not go unchecked. So to me, it's like, it doesn't feel like Doctor Strange is at his house doing regular doctor things and they're like, oh shit, something happened. It's more, I feel like it's something that he has caused or people around him have caused or Wanda has caused. So I honestly think, as bad as it sounds, I think Loki will work in this a little bit, but the way that all those things were splintering off, I think that might just end up being more time travel TVA thing, because we get this conversation all the time, right? But they're technically is a difference between time travel and multiverse things. Now, I feel like time travel, as we saw in Endgame, can create a multiverse. They can create a divergent or a variant, right? Like when Loki got the cube and went somewhere else, that was something they had to prune. But I don't think they coalesce exactly. But I could be wrong. What do you think about that, Kirklin?
Yeah, it's I feel like in the early days of just theory crafting on what was going to be related to this Multiverse of Madness situation, I was very much in the camp that like, okay, all roads lead to Multiverse of Madness, but just as we've been exposed to whether it was Loki, I think No Way Home, that was another big eye opener, just with the whole Sonyverse things tackled there. Am I allowed to talk spoilers? No Way Home, probably.
Yeah, now
Okay.
come on, it's a
Like the
you're not
Venom
gonna get
thing
Luke
just getting pulled
Skywalker.
out of the world and then thrown in there. And
Mhm.
can I talk Michael Morbius spoilers as well?
I think you can from it. Skip 2 minutes if you don't want any Morbius spoilers.
Also be
But we're
saying
saving you the
Sonic 2
trouble.
spoilers like
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
doing
yeah.
earlier this week.
I'm about to give you Thor: Love and Thunder. I just saw it. It was crazy. We saw we saw the massive talent screening, and they're like, "Guess what, fam? We got Thor: Love and Thunder." I'm like, yeah. And then like we got Avengers
early
6
screening. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they haven't even made 4. They haven't even made 5 yet. Holy shit.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I feel like with just the way that they've maybe pushed certain characters in certain areas, that's a nice spoilery free way of saying that. Just certain movements that they've done from like the effect of what happened in these movies.
Yeah, like how they put Michael Douglas as Ant-Man in the Sonyverse. Fucking wicked.
Exactly,
Poor Michael Douglas, right?
Fighting Sonic and Knuckles, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be Ant-Man 3. No, you're fighting Michael Morris.
Oh dear. But yeah, just the way that they've kind of shuffled characters in certain paths to just make sense for like structuring the movies, not for like on. What's the bit? I think you're kind of understanding what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I think that what like the bare bones what you're saying is they still want the big universe, but at the same time, you don't have to watch Spider-Man or you don't have to watch Loki to watch Spider-Man. They made it in a way where hey, the multiverse stuff happens because of a plot point here. And the other thing we got to remember though is Kang is the villain in Ant-Man. I think you could see the Loki effects in different movies. I just think so far what they've proposed to us in Doctor Strange, it seems more like a Strange a problem more than them dealing with someone else's problem, you know? So
yeah,
the same way as like I don't even know what to take from this when Mordo was like your desecration of reality. What time is that? Is that in the Endgame time? Is that referring back to the first Doctor Strange where he did the Dormammu I have to come to bargain? Is he referring
up a
to
lot of time?
Is he referring to the No Way Home thing? Because it's like every time I hear that in the trailer, because I've seen 4 movies this week. I've gotten the Doctor Strange trailer for each of them. I got them with massive talent again last night. So I've heard that line a lot. So I finally started thinking, I'm like, what is the time he's talking about? Or is it like another thing that's about to happen in the movie that we haven't even seen yet, right?
That's possible, yeah. Because it's not like he's like the desecration of reality that you did with Peter. You know,
and he'd be like, "Who's Peter?"
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. He doesn't even know who the fuck that is.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I feel like they do, or they're gonna be doing a good job at just really making it a Strange thing, because you know, even if he's doing it for these reasons, or I mean, you mentioned just from Doctor Strange 1 when he's bargaining with Dormammu, I feel like that's he's saving the world, but like
he's breaking the rules.
He is breaking the rules, and to have him go to the Council of the Illuminati, that's just what they're called, right?
That's what they're the Illuminati. That's the assumed
just the
group.
Illuminati. Okay, yeah. So that's Doctor Strange on trial, not the Avengers or people that have maybe forced him in this route. The other thing I was gonna say, just what I was saying earlier on how I feel like the rules of the multiverse of madness and just the repercussions that Strange is going to be facing. My thoughts on it has just shifted so much as we gotten closer to it. I feel like it's not all roads lead to multiverse of madness. Like I said, like the TVA isn't going to be just like helping, you know, like patch up the multiverse of madness or anything. And you were kind of mentioning that how like that could cross over to other shows. And I think the TVA is a weird niche that it can fit in that route. Like if you just have like a random TVA agent appear in a random show, it's not make or break if you don't know who that is. It's like, okay, this guy clearly is just some time travel police, you know, like even if you haven't seen Loki, I think they are going to be doing a good enough job at just keeping the theatrical things digestible for people that haven't, because not everybody that is going to be seeing Multiverse of Madness has seen all of these Disney Plus shows, right? Obviously it helps that you have seen them, but I think they're going to be doing a really good way to just kind of not be like previously on WandaVision and then it just like you know explains what happened there, but just a nice quick one-liner that kind of explains where this person's coming from. I don't know. It's kind of rambling there. I had a bunch of thoughts in my head. I kind of
That's all right. I love it. I can't remember. Oh, that's what happened. It was. I want more than to do that. Horizon Zero Dawn. That actually had a previously on before you played the game, so it like recapped you in the whole. Forbidden West. It recapped you on Horizon Zero Dawn. So I wouldn't be opposed to people doing that in the film, like before, like a trailer before. But because like I'll talk about Loki in a second. The one that is going to interest me, and luckily it was a big show and people talked about it, so I'm sure most of the audience that has seen WandaVision is seeing this, but there'll still be a few where you got that shot in the trailer where she's back at like the I've already forgotten the place. Where
Westview.
did they Westview. Like she's back in that home. We've seen like the kids in the TV spot. So Taylor got some draft points, but not the unannounced draft points like he wanted. So that's definitely like a factor in this, the WandaVision thing, right? But at the same point, you don't want to make it too many shows in there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like how they work that in, how much the kids are really a crutz, and at the end of the day, I guess they can just go back and watch it. But like, if you just go from Endgame to Doctor Strange, it's gonna be a lot because you obviously someone will know, oh, they have a show that I haven't watched, but it's gonna be strange, like, oh, she had kids and she had like this like mini villain turn. It's, you know, that is a lot to take in already if you've not seen that. So if you didn't take in that and then also take in Loki, that's a lot of stuff. So that's why it's like maybe it's best to pick certain projects where it's like, okay, you can really have WandaVision as a focus here and get people to watch that, but we can't focus on everything until it's like the next Avengers 5 or etc. You know.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Because they definitely got to explain certain things if they're going for a big collab like that. I know this is not a big collab, but it's a collab nonetheless.
It's a mini
big
one.
Characters. Mini collab with big people in it.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen, you know, she's the main female of the MCU right now, I'd say. So.
Oh, she's queen. Yeah.
Yeah, queen of the MCU.
So that's what I was going to ask, because I was going to talk about Loki later, but I'll talk about now. So we're doing a draft after about non-sacred timeline people. So who do you think from the MCU could appear, and I guess sacred timeline? And why we'll start with that is Loki, because again, I don't know if his show directly ties to it, but at the same point, I could see Tom Hiddleston making an appearance in this because, you know, technically some of those things are different multiverse things, right? I don't know if it's Tom Hiddleston being a different version of Loki. I don't know if it's Tom Hiddleston and Strange bumps into him and he's like, oh yeah, I'm going through some similar stuff here. But I honestly, I think I'm a yes on Loki appearing in some form fashion.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Not, and my reasoning for that isn't so much like Loki ties in really well here. I think it's Tom Hiddleston just fits really well in the MCU right now. Like we already know that, like, you know, he's been in it for a while, but we know Loki season 2 is going to be coming, and like he was huge. It was his show, Loki season 1,
biggest Disney Plus show, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like it's not like a lead role, so it's not like he's committing so much to the role, but I'm sure he's loving just being a part of the MCU, and I'm sure they love working with him, because how can you not? He's a great individual. So I think that is quite likely. I'd put my chips on that.
What about White Vision? Because I feel like White Vision is another. He's that one kicking around. I'm very 50-50 on him.
The White Vision. I hate that
Snow
word.
Vision. Snow Vision, right? That's what we call him. I'm very 50-50 on it, but for me, I'm 51-49 on him not appearing, because it's tough if you got the kids, everything. Just because I feel like the next time that Snow Vision and Wanda interact, there should be some space in between. Now, we don't know how much time is between WandaVision and Doctor Strange, so maybe they could be like, oh, it's been 2 years. I don't think it's been that, but let's just say it is. Then maybe, but I think there'd be some space, and I'd almost like to see Snow Vision next time, but without Wanda. You know, like he's still figuring stuff out. He's still collecting himself, whether that's him starting some West Coast Avengers or like helping the champions or young Avengers, whatever it may be. I think we could give some time for Snow Vision. I know it's going to happen, but I think it's just kind of like the same way, you know, Gandalf came back in Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, but he didn't see Frodo to Return the King, right? And you felt that because there was some time distance, you know, because Frodo didn't even know Gandalf was alive. Frodo just wakes up and Gandalf's in his fucking room, you know? It's a crazy thing. And technically, same thing. I have to go back and watch WandaVision, but I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if she knows that Snow Vision got away or not. Obviously, she said goodbye to the Westview Vision, but I don't know if she completely even if she knew the Snow Vision got away, she might have not even known that he was starting to get the thoughts of the previous life, right? So it might be a situation just like how Thor thinks Loki is gone, that she could think Vision's gone. So I think in this movie, it could work, but I kind of just want to see her stand on her own, but I'm not opposed depending how they do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean,
for the vote on why he should be in it is just because those two are so tied together. Wanda
Yes.
and Vision, they've appeared in the MCU together in the same movie, and
It
they've
would
just
snap her
always
out of
been-
any bad doing too. Like he's
Yeah.
the MacGuffin. You know, it's
Yeah.
like Justice League when they bring in Lois Lane for Superman to calm him down. That's what Vision would be for
Yeah.
Wanda. You
I
know?
think it's also possible though that it could have the opposite effect, especially because this is the Snow Vision. It's not the same Vision that she knows. So I don't know. Maybe he would be kind of pushing back on some decisions that she's making, and that might just break her mind even worse. I don't know though, because I don't think she's going to be like completely mentally broken at the end of this movie. I think this is going to be peak villain, and then at the end of the movie, she'll be on a trajectory that's a little less villainous. But it's tough because I really agree with you how I think there should be some distance between those two meeting. And I think it would be really awesome if we don't see Vision for a little bit and then we have S Bub save Vision. I feel like if we have that distance, we can have her go on this adventure, whether she's a villain or not. I think she is. And then just if she goes the route of not being fully good or fully evil by the end of the movie, that would be really great to have her go through this journey and then interact with Vision afterwards, after the fact, after whatever she's gone through. I mean, if we know the kids are in this, so that's already going to be pretty insane just on her own psyche.
Like they are in this, but like, are they the same kids? Is it a trick? I don't know. You know,
I don't know, man. Yeah, but my want is for him to not be in this. I think, especially because like WandaVision, like it didn't happen that long ago now. Like I want when I see Snow Vision, I want him to have gone and done stuff, and I want to like hear about it from him. You know, it's not like, oh yeah, I just left Westview and this is where I am now. I just came directly here.
Yeah.
So that's my want, and then I think I'm pretty much the same as you. I think I'm like maybe 55-45 on him not being in it. It's not solid numbers by any means.
Yeah.
And it's not like it would ruin the movie of him being in there. It's just in my mind, I picture it being better if he's not.
Yeah.
I just want to focus on Wanda. You know, I don't want it to be the WandaVision show because I just had that. I want the Wanda.
That's maybe
story.
my bad thing with Doctor Strange. Like I'm excited for the cameos. I'm excited for more Strange, but the two things I'm most excited for is I'm excited to see what happens with Wanda. I'm excited to see Sam Raimi direct a superhero movie again. You know, it's like I'm not even the most excited for the Strange character, and I love Doctor Strange, but like I'm all about Wanda
characters.
I'm a little
Zombie Strange, those ones.
Well, I'm a little more bummed now that it doesn't seem like it's Supreme Strange anymore. Like I feel like that was kind of a tease to us, and not in a teaser sense, but like at the end of No Way Home when we got that trailer and you saw that doctor, I think everyone assumed, like majority, there was a few people, I don't know if it's him, but majority was like, oh, this is Strange Supreme, this is that evil one and stuff. So the fact now it kind of seems like it's not, and it's just like another Strange, is like, I'm a little less hyped because I was like, man, they're bringing the fucking What If Strange, this is gonna be great.
Strange. That's he's got
Fully
like
Strange,
the emo hair that Toby has.
Or like, what does Taylor call him? Dr. Is Strange for some reason. I don't know why the fuck he started that. I
don't even know how that started.
I don't even know how, but as far as for other just sacred timeline or like MCU characters we know, I don't know who else other than maybe I'll save it for end credits, but I don't know anybody else in the actual movie that I see appearing, just because I think one, will be getting lots of cameos elsewhere, but we got Wanda. We're going to be set up America Chavez, who's going to become like a reoccurring MCU character. So I really don't see anyone in the main movie. Like I said, when we get the end credits predictions, maybe there'll be somebody, but I don't see anyone in the main movie. Do you?
I think I had drafted Sam, Captain America. I think that could be a fun one. Hopefully, that'd be
what
a fun like
what would
unannounced
Sam
appearance.
be doing in this movie though? In the Multiverse of Madness,
I know,
this
just
guy
flying
who was
around,
just fighting
throwing a
these...
shield.
Yeah.
I know it's tough to picture, but I mean,
they kill him
come
off
on,
in this movie,
Cap-
and the fans are outraged, just outraged. He's like,
Didn't
I got
he just
you,
start
Strange.
filming for Captain America 4?
No,
no,
that was a rumor. It's Twisted Metal, actually.
that.
It is.
Maybe
That's not even a
it.
Travis joke. Yeah.
Maybe that's the multiverse comes through. It's his character from Twisted Metal.
Perfect.
What a
Great.
crossover there.
Good job, Fighter.
I don't know. I feel like I picked him for the reason that he's just the new face of the Avengers, and I feel like this is just Come on, it's Avengers stuff, but
It's just so
Not
above his
strong.
head, you know. Like he's dealing with little drug runners, and now they're like, "Yeah, we're dealing with fucking 5 Doctor Stranges. You ready to fight them, Sam?" He's like, "Oh, I
Hell
can
no.
do this
Yeah.
all day."
I cannot do this all day.
Yeah, I can do this half the day. But yeah, anybody else?
I don't know. My mind was thinking what Bruce Banner's doing, but I think we're holding on for him for She-Hulk and stuff like that. So it'd be weird for him to just bounce off in this and then go off into that scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then plus, if we got these characters and we do get a Loki appearance, or we do get a like a White Vision, like that's already a bunch of MCU people, you know. So
No, yeah, true. What
So-
about Thor? Odin's son.
no, I don't think
No.
so. I same thing. If Thor and Loki interact, I think it's going to be in a Thor or Loki project. They got to save that reunion. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
just
that's a good point. It
when
should be in their
does it
main.
happen?
It should be like either a Thor thing or a Loki thing.
Yes.
I completely agree with you. I think my mind is just on the what if because Thor was so great in that little what were they even called? The Guardians? Not the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Multiverse. There.
Guardians of Multiverse. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Well, we were talking about her a little bit. Speaking of Wanda, what do you think is going to happen to her throughout this journey? Obviously, it seems like she's helped teaming up, and she's also giving some speeches to Doctor Strange. So I'm going to throw to you. What is like the beginning, middle, and end of this character in this movie?
For I missed what you said.
For Wanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah, because she's very suspect at the end of WandaVision. She's in a cabin in the woods doing some tomfoolery with her book. I think there might be like the 2 Wandas that we kind of saw at the end of WandaVision. Like we have the one that's like drinking a tea or something outside the cabin, and then we have the real one like doing some book stuff. I think that will actually be in this movie where we are seeing like maybe a puppeteer and a puppet of that same character. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they're interacting with the puppet version. That's kind of like a front for the main
That'd be good.
Wanda. Because I was saying. Or I was thinking, I don't know if I said it on cast or not, but when
Doesn't count if we didn't hear it, Kirklin.
just like that scene when they're in like a nice orchard and Wanda's talking to
Yes.
Strange, and like she looks like this very friendly Wanda, and then there's a very similar shot of them in like basically hell where she's wearing
Very
like the full Scarlet
purposeful,
Witch.
yeah.
So I don't think that's just like a mirage. I think there actually might be like the 2 different Wandas. And I think maybe the beginning would of course be that, and then they find out some weird things are going on with her, and then I don't know, maybe just accusing of her, and maybe that even will be the same scene when like we heard the line in the trailer, like I haven't seen the trailer
You
4
break
times
the,
like you did.
Yeah, you break the rules and you're a hero. I break the rules and I'm a villain, and I don't think that's really fair, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that's far in the movie, honestly. I think that would be...
I'm thinking middle, like main middle, like somewhere in there. Like
Yeah,
even
main
like
middle.
like at that like almost legit, well, because you gotta remember this movie is supposedly only like get 2 hours, right?
Right, I forgot
So
about
I
the
could see it
length.
being like
Yeah.
half an hour. The beginning is like, oh hey,
Yeah.
Wanda, help me out, and there's just some adventures. Or like my only worry is they try and hold that as like a third act, like last minute, like it's been Wanda all along, and that's like, well, if that's the case, you should have cut that line from the trailer, being like, I don't think
Yeah.
it's really fair. You're a hero. Like when you put that in there, you're kind of choreographing like, okay, she's gonna have. To me, not a turn, but talking about before cast, when we were talking about the X-Men retros, one of the best things about X2 is when the team has to work with Magneto, right? And he's on the good side, but you just never know when something's gonna flip, or he could, and he even does that in the movie where he goes for his like own personal causes, where he's there to save the X-Men. He does, but he finds out, oh, they got Cerebro. I'm gonna make it so Cerebro's gonna kill the humans, and you're like, fuck, why did we bring this guy? And I think Wanda will work better that way if you establish her early on that something could be wrong. And she does flip instead of a big twist of like, oh, this whole time it's been her,
Yeah.
because she already had, I don't care what people say, it is villainous tendencies in WandaVision. She abducted a whole city. I know people, oh, grief and this and that and blah, blah. It's like, doesn't matter. she took over. Those people are begging. They're like, "Let me see my kids, please." Like those are so, whether she wanted to or not, she did some villainous stuff. So I hope they play it the Magneto X2 way, just like her father in different multiverse. Of she's on the team, but can we trust her? And at the end, she maybe makes a selfish choice or a bad choice, not knowing it's even that, but just something like that. Not the third act. It's me,
Sagatha all along. It was one
yeah. It's a one.
Plays the same theme song and everything. No, I agree. Because if that happens, I would just be disappointed. I'd be like, "Fuck! Did Sony make this trailer? What is going on here?" I didn't even watch like the 1 minute snippet. I feel like I don't need to know more for this. But was that shot of her walking and like exploding like the Ultron head? Was that in that snippet, or is
no?
That's
just like a
photo?
Poster they released, or like an image they released. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that image, I mean, my mind is just going off on like, well, where else do we see those guys? That was in the Illuminati Council thing, and I know they're kind of putting Strange on trial there, but for my eyes, they seem like they're maybe not good nor evil, but like kind of in the righteous, neutral, like leaning more good side. So maybe like, is that just Wanda like going to the fucking council and just slapping ass and being a complete badass? She's not in the Scarlet Witch outfit, but
how much do you want to know? Because I don't know spoiler.
No, then
I don't know spoil. I don't know spoilers. It's just all theories based off trailers. I'll just say you aren't far off. That's what I'll say. If you look at trailers and you look at when people freeze frame stuff and everything, there's certain shots where you go, okay, this is here and this is there, and Wanda's covered in blood one scene, and then one scene she's not, and it's just like, I wonder what happens. And that's why like the trailers right now, they're proposing it that Doctor Strange is on trial. I wonder if it could be a flip and she's actually the one, maybe, where it's like, no, like, except like, we don't know what Xavier this is, right? And they could heavily refer to, hey, this is Xavier in his universe where he's with Magneto, and Magneto has a daughter. And guess what? When that daughter's on the wrong side, she's very dangerous. And that could be his whole thing of like, we gotta kill her, or lock her up, like the same way the Illuminati in the comic books decide, hey, we're gonna take Hulk, he's too dangerous, we're sending him to a different planet. They could be trying to do that with her, and the trailers are making us think it's Strange, but maybe it's her. And when she gets that sniff, she kind of like, fuck all you, like I'm gonna, because my opinion of what's gonna happen with Wanda is I don't think, because the trailers, other than them showing, I never know how to say his name, Espub says it here, Gargantuous or whatever. I guess I just
Gargantos.
They've not shown us like a main villain, right? With like Shang-Chi, it was clearly Wing Wu. With Eternals, it was clearly, like, obviously there's a twist there, but it was clearly the what is their other breed of people? I know you love Eternals, but Eternals, the Deviants, like they showed them. I know they showed them, but Black Widow was clearly Taskmaster, right? They're not showing like, oh, clearly in Doctor Strange 2, this is the villain. So that's why I do think Wanda is the overall villain. But I think, even though it just happened, I think it's going to be very similar to Win Wu in Shang-Chi, where he's doing it, but he's doing it because he's being tricked. Those things behind the wall was telling him, oh, your wife's back here. We could save your wife, bring her back. I think whether someone actually does have her kids or is saying, oh, I could bring your kids back for sure. They're right here. I'm not saying it's Mephisto, but like, oh, they're right here. You could be with your kids again. I think she will be doing villainous things, but for the right sort of reasons, right? Or imagine what if there's a thing where she goes to the Illuminati and they're talking, right? It's her and Strange are talking, and the Illuminati's like, we just don't trust you, or you're too dangerous. So we have your kids, but you're not seeing your kids. We're keeping your kids away from you. We think it's too dangerous if you're around your kids. And you think Wanda gonna be like, yeah, fuck, you're just gonna keep my kids? Absolutely not. And us as the viewers, it would be in a way where, yeah, we don't want Wanda to do these things, but what if they are just keeping her kids from her?
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like that her villainous motivations are going to be that. My only thing is that I hope, and that's my worry with Gargantos, is with Shang-Chi, the second, spoilers for Shang-Chi, the second Wenwu died, sure, the dragon was cool to fight and everything, but like the personal stakes went out the window. Like the interest of that father-son dynamic was gone. So my worry is Wanda is the villain up until like the last 25 minutes, and then the big bad Dormammu, Mephisto, Gargantos, like something that they have to fight, and then at the end, it's just like, we'll go our separate ways. That's my worry. But I think that might happen because I honestly don't see the finale of this movie being Strange versus Wanda in a fight to the death or something like that. I don't think it's anything like that. S-Bubs, I'm not going to read any of those plot details things. I saw that, and I know you don't have a problem with them, but I don't want to read them. But I don't think she is the main villain in the sense they're going to fight at the end, but I will say this, and hopefully it's the same, that I love the Doctor Strange ending of it didn't end in a big battle. It ended with Doctor Strange outsmarting Dormammu, and I would love that too, where the finale is not just Doctor Strange versus Wanda. It's something like heavier than that, you know?
I have a feeling it will be that route, honestly, just from what's shown in the trailers. I mean, you just said it. Like, there's no clear villain in this movie, and I feel like that's going to be a big thing in the trailer, because, like, everybody, like all the main players in this movie have done things questionable, you know? Like Steven's literally broke the universe. Wanda's taken a entire town captive, among other things that she's done that's very sus. And I feel like it'll be dancing around those lines on like just who is in the moral right. What's the better way to say that? I'm lost for words right now. Just I don't know.
You're good enough. People know what you're talking about.
So, yeah,
we got smart listeners.
We got smart listeners.
Yeah.
Better than the smart speakers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think, and I think for that reason, that's a big thing on why I'm really, really excited for this movie, is that it's going to be really heady, and there isn't a clear villain or. I mean,
like
I guess
Civil War.
Strange is our good guy.
It should be like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Great example. So, and I think everything that's shown, whether it's the Illuminati, like, okay, I see Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart's only been a good guy in my eyes, but like, I don't really know if the Illuminati is all on the right here. You know, it could
they're
be
called the fucking Illuminati.
Yeah.
Who got together like, let's call
righteous...
ourselves the Illuminati, guys. This is a good idea.
Not like the Happy Council of Friends or something like that.
Yeah. Care Bear Squad.
Yeah. So I don't even know what I was going with that. I was getting lost in my own big words.
Well, what I will say is, the reason I wanted Civil War is because we talked about this during the podcast. I love Cap. I was full Team Cap. I always am Team Cap the same way if like Tony wants to fucking lock these people up and expose their identities. No, I wasn't for that. But that's the best part of that movie. I'm Team Cap the whole way until that third act when they're like, oh yeah, Winter Soldier killed his mom, and Cap has known for years and didn't tell Tony, and it was like, fuck Cap, and that's where it's like, not that I would switch to Team Tony, but for a second I was like, I'm not mad at Tony trying to kill Winter Soldier right now. Like, yes, it shouldn't happen because he should be smart enough to figure out, hey, the guy was fucking brainwashed. Like, leave him alone. But he's so emotional. It's like, and he's not only emotional because of that, he's emotional because Cap lied. So I'd like it where the finale is something where you feel conflicted on both sides, you know?
100%. For me, definitely Team Cap in that sense. But like when Cap and Winter Soldiers beat the shit out of Tony and just left him there, and then he drops the line like, I thought you were my friend too. Like, it was just, oh, come on. Like, you got to at least have some like sympathy for that character. That earlier in the film, like, come on, Tony, how the fuck can you say these things? This just doesn't make sense here. But
Big Wumbo, good to see you back in the chat. He says, why did the word nightmare become such a big point in the trailer? What if Wanda is having a recurring nightmare of finding her kids? And then he said, nightmare being a sleeper villain, trying to feed off her using Billy Tommy. And then S-Bubs respond with, I don't think Nightmare is in the movie. I agree with that because there was rumors in Scott Derrickson's script that Nightmare was the villain, which would have been cool, which I think we could still get. I'm not sure. Like, Nightmare could just be, I think, sure, it could be insane with a villain. I also just think the word nightmare it's one of those things about how I always say Saw. The reason the first Saw movie was such a big hit is because it was so small, it was about a bathroom, and like you could be put in that situation of, imagine, Kirklin, if you were put in a bathroom and said you could escape, but you could cut your own leg off. You could be like, man, that is terrifying. And that's the same way as like everybody's had a nightmare. And I know I'm putting it down to the brass tacks, like very simple, but I just think the word nightmare invokes like it's a nightmare. It's some of your worst thoughts you've maybe ever had. You've had a nightmare is a situation where you are sleeping and you can't get out of it until you wake up. That's awful. So I think that's where I think it's just like honestly marketing, but sure, if Nightmare's in it, cool. And maybe that's a big reveal. Maybe it is similar that there is a big bad, like a Dormammu, and they come in at the end. I just want it to be done differently than Shang-Chi. It's just like, okay, Doctor Strange and Wanda are back on the same team. We got to take out this big threat, which, sometimes that happens. That's why I loved about the first Doctor Strange. It didn't have that traditional third act Marvel thing where it's like, we complain about WandaVision, right, where the show is like heady and more character based, but the last episode is Agatha and Wanda and they got to fight in the sky, which I still like, but there was just like, this doesn't feel like the rest of the show exactly. And we talk about that. That's why I love the Loki finale, because the Loki finale was Loki and Sylvie talking to Kang about time, and like that's what I liked. It was just a conversation for half an hour, but then it all depends what you like, right? Because there's other people, that was a boring finale. I remember Emily, she wasn't a big fan of that finale. So that's where it's like, it all depends on what you're looking for. So, and Wanda, I will say, we did this after Endgame, but I said in Phase 4 predictions that I thought Wanda would die in this movie. I'm completely can tell you Travis is wrong there, because one, WandaVision was so big that even if they plan on killing her, I think they would have been like, you know what, let's walk that one back, let's keep her around. But with her trajectory, I just think she has more adventures to do, especially if mutants do come involved. But I just think that she has become, one, you got Elizabeth Olsen, which is great, but she has become one of the most interesting characters of the MCU, that if she were to die right here, I'd be very disappointed. So I think she will kind of end similar to WandaVision, where she'll kind of be on the run. Like, she'll be on the run again, you know, like she won't be accepted. She won't be necessarily a good guy. She'll be misunderstood, you know? So.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, if you've been listening, you know my thoughts on Wanda. I absolutely love her now, but like when Age of Ultron happened, I really didn't care for her character that much. I was just like, those twins are kind of weird. Didn't really know the actress at the time. It's like, oh, they're related to the Olsen twins. That's kind of funny. But really didn't know much about her. Just the evolution that character has gone through has been amazing, and there's still so much that they can do with it. So many reasons, many of the ones that you listed off there. Just quickly, I wanted to mention on like the obvious threat of the movie. I feel like one of the most appealing things for me is, I mean, we already talked about how very ambiguous, like we don't really know what's going on, but I think what's more exciting than having a character like Nightmare that is a very clear villain is that it's just the fact that the multiverse is kind of breaking, and like so many things are just like compiling and just mixing together. Like that's a huge threat in my eyes. I think just going on an adventure with these characters through the movie of just dealing with the aftermath of that event happening, like that's just as good for me as having like never mind. That's better than having like a nice big bad villain like squaring off, whether it's Strange versus the Scarlet Witch. So I think that is what's going to be going to. I honestly, I'd be surprised if by the end it's like, it was me all along, and then Nightmare comes out or whatever. I don't even really know anything about Nightmare. He's a demon, I would imagine, like Mephisto.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's kind of a bit more like, it's almost similar to Dormammu too, but just like in the darker dimensions, you know, like that sort of thing. And obviously the first movie talked a lot about the dark dimensions and Doctor Strange and stuff like that. So I think that's where it's kind of coming from.
We have Mads Mikkelsen trying to get there.
I wish they're just letting the fucking best actor in the MCU just twirl around in some portal in a sky. God
like
damn.
A fucking Superman villain.
Like bring him back.
Little prism thing.
Bring him back as Doom. For somehow he became Victor Von Doom. Jeez.
Just I don't know. Is Nightmare and Mephisto like on a similar level, or is one like way more powerful than the other?
I would think maybe you could say Mephisto's more powerful, but I think they're in that same ballpark of type of characters. You know, okay. Like they're both in Slytherin. Let's say that. You know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let's because we were talking about death. Let's talk about death after our second ad break. And we're back. So yeah, I talked about that. I said Wanda's not dying. You kind of agreed that you don't think Wanda's dying. Do you think any of our main characters? You got Strange. I don't think America Chavez is dying in her debut. Wong.
That'd be sad.
You got Christine. Yeah. You know, I would love it if they just kill Christine and the whole movie's just a reenactment of the What If episode. But do you think any of the characters we know about right now, like Baron Mordo, stuff like that, do you think any of them could bite it in this one?
Baron Mordor?
Mordu. I always screwed up because after Lord of the Rings, I always call them Baron Mordor, but it's just Mordu. Like it's Mordor, but with no R at the end. It's an O, so it's just Baron Mordo. But yeah, I always like my mouth wants to say Mordor. So Baron, Chiwetel Ejiofor, the great actor. You know.
I haven't seen Doctor Strange more than maybe once. Did he die in that movie?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. He left because he was
just super sus, right?
He was one of, yes and no.
Dabbling
He was one of those
in the dark magics.
Yeah, but he only did that because they started doing it. Because he was super like, we don't break the rules, we don't do that. And then when the Ancient One and Strange did that, it ended with an end credit scene. He was going around to sorcerers and taking their power, and just like too many sorcerers. So he was like, if people were abusing the magic, he was taking it away in like a not so great way. But he had a point of like, hey, we're not supposed to do this stuff, and you're doing it, So.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I definitely think he could die then. I was going to say he wouldn't die if he died in the first one. Now he's just back as the Illuminati Mordo. I think he could perish here. Wong, I feel like he still has more work to do, because he's kind of a crossover character that we've seen in like Shang-Chi and stuff like that. So I think he still has more stuff to do in the MCU, which is awesome because I've really grown to like that character again. That was one that was just a side character that had some comic relief in the first one, where he was just super like straight face. Like he's just evolved so much since that first appearance, and I really like the actor, so it's good to see him just sticking around. And God, I hope he doesn't perish. Strange, not gonna die. Wanda, definitely not. No one really popping out like right away, especially like main players, because I mean the main players is Strange and Wanda, and I feel like they got some plot armor around them just because they have more stuff to do. Christine could be that could actually be a good one because it would be really tying to Strange, obviously, and that could just be that'd be a good chance for Benedict to just show like what that actor can do of like an emotional scene, like especially just reacting to someone that he loves, really cares about. You might be running the risk of getting a little bit too close to that What If episode, but that What If episode was fucking amazing. So like, what's the problem with that? I guess some people would be like, oh, they're just copying this, blah, 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 but. And then, yeah, I that's the one that's really the only one that stands out with me. But this movie still seems like it has a lot of consequence. Which Benedict, yeah, good point, S Bubs. I definitely think at least one of them will die.
Oh wow,
one of the Benedicts.
Yeah, if anybody, it sounds bad. It's kind of like you said, it could be Christine. The only reason I think it could be Christine is because they will go into a multiverse world where she's a much more important character. Like Doctor Strange there's a female sorcerer named like Clea, and she's been rumored to be in this a few times. And I think it would be kind of fun if they made her in a different multiverse, that character. Because Doctor Strange is the biggest movie. You have Rachel McAdams, Mads Mikkelsen. It's the biggest MCU movie that has some of the best talent. They just wasted them. Like Rachel McAdams playing this fucking doctor. And like, I know Rachel McAdams did say she like, I have more role this time. I hope it is something fun, like even if it was a multiverse thing. But the Christine character isn't nothing. Yeah, Wong, I would have thought until he popped it in Shang-Chi. Even with Spider-Man, I was like, nah. It's like to Spider-Man, they set up like, he's the Sorcerer Supreme because Strange was gone. So to me, it was almost like the setup and knock him down. Of like, Spider-Man sets up that he's the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange knocks it down, kills him, and look, he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, and that's how Strange gets it. But with him being in Shang-Chi, it seems like they're making him more vital. It seems like maybe him and Blade could kind of double as like the Nick Furies of the supernatural, it almost feels like Wong is going to be the Nick Fury of like the magic side, and Blade might be the Nick Fury of like the dark supernatural side, right? So after what we've seen so far, I don't think Wong's going to die. I thought that at one point, same thing as Wanda, but no, I don't think anyone is going to, of our main characters. I don't think, and Baron's tough because Chris Balga on Marvel Alliance, obviously check that show out. Always a great listen with him and Brent. He, for a while, I'm not sure if he had heard this from somebody else. This isn't rumors, don't worry. He has heard this like as a theory from someone else, or it was his theory. I'd have to ask him. But his theory that the Baron Mordo we were seeing in the trailers was a variant. Like he was a multiverse version of him because he has like the dreads and he looks a little bit different. I didn't like that. I liked the idea of, we left Baron in a very dark place, but now all of a sudden he's like on the Illuminati. Like he's almost a higher tier than Strange because he knows all this shit. But at the same time, if Baron's going to die, then I do hope that it is a variant, because I don't want Baron to die. I want him to stick around because I feel like there's more that they haven't dove in with him and Strange. So I do think he's the only one on the chopping block. Even if he's our Baron or variant, I think he's the only one. And yeah, it could be interesting, but I don't want to lose him because same thing. Chiwetel Ejiofor is a fantastic, phenomenal actor. He's a guy arguably could have won Best Actor for 12 Years a Slave. Like, this guy can fucking go, and I think he's great as Barrymore in the first one, but he's still just kind of there. Like, they have this great roster of people in these movies that I'd want to see more, like McAdams, like him. So I honestly hope they don't die. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are great points. S-Bubs mentioned right here in the comments, he thinks most of, if not all, the Illuminati will die. I mean, I think they might, have a run-in with the Wanda. After that one photo that we saw. And
they'll keep the ones around that car, like, they want to use. Like, if Captain Carter, like, there was rumors Captain Carter was on that roster. Like, if she will somehow make it out alive, because like, we might do a Disney Plus show with her. Yeah. But Patrick Stewart, who's almost 80.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if we get introduced to him, almost like tearing up in the theaters, just seeing him back in that role, and then just have him die, that would be really heart-wrenching. But also, where does that character go after this movie? As you mentioned, he's an older fella.
And I'm still fine with it because I still personally, in our sacred timeline, for the majority of the people, I like, even with Wolverine, I want like a new, like, I want our Wolverine. I want Xavier not to be a Stewart. I want them to go cast a new Stewart and him create a new legacy.
Yep.
So
True.
Yeah. You go.
I like just glitched out there. 404 error.
Mine's transitioning to a new prediction. So
yeah, I think I was gonna just start talking about Captain Carter, but that didn't really have anything related on who would die, because I don't think she will die.
No.
There's like a photo too. I think it's when they're in that Illuminati place, and there's like a statue with like someone with a shield, and it's like, is this Peggy Carter? Was she one of like the founders of the Illuminati?
No, it's John Walker.
John, okay. Just long hair. He like grew his hair out.
Imagine, it's like Baron Mordor. It's dreaded, and everyone's like, "This is really insensitive." John.
And that's who Patrick Stewart like supposedly was. It's just John's. God, oh my God, I would love
if John Walker.
Everybody would just hate on this fucking guy even more.
If John Walker was in the fucking Illuminati, oh my God, it'd be so funny. But I suppose that's Captain Carter's 100% in this movie. Her shield is in the poster, very clearly, not like supposed Deadpool.
Yeah,
I agree, and there've just been rumors, but you never know. Right, it could just be they might infer to her, but I agree that she will be in there, and maybe that's who we're gonna be fighting over in the draft. But
we'll find out.
So obviously we don't think Strange will die, but where do you think Strange will be when this movie ends? And this is kind of almost like the ending of the movie. Do you think it's going to be a positive ending where he's like, I've had this great experience and greener pastures? Do you think it's a dark ending where, hey, a lot of bad shit happened? Do you think it's literally a cliffhanger where I don't, same thing. I don't know if Chris proposed this exactly, but something like this, and maybe I'm just like growing up on the idea of like, I had an idea of what if it ended of him being in a different multiverse. I think it was me and Chris were talking. I think we kind of came to that conclusion together where it ends and it's something where like, yeah, he can save some people, but he's going to be somewhere else like stuck and he has to get his way back. Like, that's my main prediction. That I don't know if it's another multiverse, but I feel like they win, but it's in quotations of bad stuff happens and maybe Strange is not left in the best place as far as even physically, like he might be somewhere else, but even mentally, like I feel like it's going to be like Civil War where it ended on kind of a downer of, I don't like where our team is, it kind of sucks. And I feel like that's where this is going to go.
Yeah, man. I think it's going to end like in the sense where, oh my God, the hero saved the day, everything's happy, but then it's like, what was the cost? And I think that cost will actually be on Strange, physically, mentally, possibly, which this is kind of my hope. I hope maybe he had to use some dark stuff, and then maybe that just really is starting to take over. Taylor's estranged, Doctor Estrange.
Doctor Estrange.
I think that could be really fun because then we still have him in the MCU, but it's not just the same guy that we've been experiencing. And then it's not even like the next time we see him, he has to have that. It could still be maybe just like this corruption that's slowly taking over him. I don't know what that would be at all. I'm just kind of theory crafting here, and I think that would be really, really interesting because if they manage to save the multiverse, which I think they will, I think it would have that effect of like, I can't believe our heroes did it, and then it just but at what cost, right? And I really think that is going to be the case because just everything about this movie is just really freaky deaky, really dark and ominous. So I think that's actually what's going to happen. Again, I don't think like per detail that I just listed there, but I think it is going to be something along those lines that Doctor Strange is going to be like forever changed from this movie moving forward.
He's a rug now.
He's a rug.
He's like, I say the multiverse, but I had to become a rug, and it's just like he's like outside the sanctum
at the Illuminati. He's just like below Patrick Stewart's feet.
Yeah. Oh, John Walker's rubbing his feet on me again. Fuck, I hate my life. Espo says the real prediction is if Bruce Campbell's leaked Doctor Strange script ends up being true or not. Now, I don't think he is actually playing Doctor Strange, but I think Bruce Campbell has to be in this. He was in every Spider-Man. Him and Raimi have worked together. I'm rewatching The Evil Deads right now as preparation. I know Espo, you're watching them for the first time, so that must be fun. But yeah, I feel like they'll keep Bruce Campbell in, and I don't know. It's just a Raimi superhero tradition. So I hope that I'll be very, very disappointed if we hear he did legitimately film something and he got cut. Oof, that'll be a kick to the balls.
Any predictions what he would be? You said not Doctor Strange, but just
yeah, like, and it
WWE
could be Doctor Strange,
announcer.
but like I don't. Yeah, wow, he's mad. He's the Fink. No, like. I know people. Again, it's probably not him because there's been rumors about Tom Cruise Iron Man, and I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I think it would all be fantastic if Bruce Campbell was Iron Man, and so like you could see him pulling that off. I also think, again, I don't think they could pull this off because I don't know about the rights of it, but it'd be great if he was a Spider-Man because he was in those Spider-Man,
like a man spider, like very similar outfit that he had. In the wrestling ring.
Or if he's just some fucking super random ass character. Like I know we heard those characters about MODOK being an Ant-Man, but someone like that. The way Seth Green was Howard the Duck, like someone where it's like, man, Bruce Campbell's playing this fucking weird ass character and it works, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure. He could be anybody, he's a talented dude. So, but I hope he's just there. Even if he's just playing the fucking theater guy from Spider-Man 2, I hope he's there, like Doctor Strange trying to get in the wedding and he's like, tie your shoes, everything like that, and he won't let him in. So
yeah, absolutely.
Now to speak about the very, very end, our last prediction before our draft, where do you think, or what do you think is going to happen in the end credits? Because I imagine there'll be two. So what do you think? And I will say that I hope that this is a movie where they choose not to do a comedic end credit because I don't think it will fit the tone of this movie. But
No.
what do you see happening? What do you see setting up? Do you see someone appearing, etc.,
Well,
etc.?
what do we know that's coming out after this? Like
Nothing. This is the last MCU movie. And then they're done.
okay.
Yeah,
And,
Feige's
okay,
going to
then no
retire
end
on the
credit
beach.
scene. It's just
He's that whole DC overhaul. He's going to DC. He can't wait. No, we got Love and Thunder. You got Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Guardians
you got
somewhere.
Guardians. You got the Marvels. And for shows, you got Echo, Secret Invasion, She-Hulk. But all those they could have someone do a Strange, but they're all in that vicinity. So, like, maybe a spoiler from my thought. I think if it's setting up something, it might be something past all this stuff,
Yeah. I don't know. Fury's
the same
kind
way
of been away. We could
Shang-Chi-
see him there, right? We could
Yeah.
have another Blade thing. He's kind of just been
That's
recruiting
likely,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like with Shang-Chi, they set up that whole blinking of the rings or whatever, but that's not in any of the movies we've seen so far, and that's something that could be far out. So
Right. Yeah, and there was, again, I guess spoiler sort of for end credit of Shang-Chi there, but the Hulk thing, like Bruce Banner, we saw him not as the Hulk, right? Like that's kind of a big deal that it's kind of glossed over. Maybe just more something related to that. I'm not exactly sure. I think if there is something with Doctor Strange, like what I was leading off with, maybe something dark, I think that would actually be contained in the movie. It wouldn't be an end credit thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably something along those lines of, having some sort of Nick Fury thing or Blade. Yeah, I don't know. Nick Cage comes through on the Ghost Rider bike.
Oh boy.
Shouts out to you, Taylor.
Heard of me? So I got three. One, and I think they're all kind of likely. So I think it's kind of a see what happens. I think one is you just set up the same way Doctor Strange set up Bear Mordor. Obviously, they might not be going that route, but you set up a potential villain for the third one. I still would like Dormammu back. I still want Dormammu back the way he's in the comics, where he's a body and he's like a floating firehead. I think it'd be great if he was like a physical threat soon. So I think Dormammu, someone like that, actually Mephisto, because I think a Mephisto end credit scene would pop the crowd. Just because it became such a meme with WandaVision. If it was like the same way as Thanos when he's like, oh, I guess it's I'll do it myself. himself. And Mephisto was just like, imagine he was just like looking upon them, like, oh, this is very interesting what's happening. And then like you cut to the camera, it's Mephisto, you're like, oh fuck, like we actually have Mephisto now. Like that'd be kind of fun. So I feel like a villain setup, that's one. I feel like something with Shang-Chi or Wong could happen because Wong appeared in Shang-Chi, so like it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if Wong's still trying to figure out like, hey, you know, something's going on. Yeah, S-Bubs 100% have Dormammu possess Mads Mikkelsen's body, and that's how he comes back. 100,000%. But at the end of the day, he would just be a fireball head, so I still want Mads somehow just be recast as Doom. And then my third one is when you mentioned Blade. I agree with that, but I think this could be because it's the bigger stage, bigger than Eternals, bigger than Moon Knight if Blade appears there. I think this is when you could really start setting up Midnight Suns, laying your first little breadcrumbs to, hey, general audience, you don't know this, but there's a supernatural team with all these weird people. And it could be very Nick Fury style, like, hey, you know, maybe you need some more friends watching your back and stuff like that. And then it's Blade or it's Stephen Grant, like whoever made, like, I think just Stephen Grant trying to like, hey, you want to be on a team? But like, I think either a villain setup, something with Shang-Chi and those rings, or a Midnight Suns kind of teaser Easter egg, sort of like this is what's on the horizon, you know?
I like it. Yeah, I like the Mephisto one. Maybe I'll throw this out there just to will into existence. Not likely, but I want him soon. Silver Surfer.
Oh, it just pops up.
Just yeah, you know. I don't know. Is it too soon for Galactus stuff? Probably.
I just don't know if that's pops up here. I think that could pop
more
up in Guardians
Avengers or
or space stuff, or even Thor.
Yeah.
Like this more space realms, like that could, and plus you don't forget, in a couple of years you got a Fantastic Four movie coming up, so
Silver Surfer.
It could easily be safe. Yeah, this one's called The
I'm
Rise
gonna
of
start saying
Silver
this
Surfer
every
Part 2.
single predictions. Just I
to
just
make it
really
happen.
want to will it in there.
She-Hulk. She's listen. This man's board was taken by this punk kid. He
Why
needs
does he
to
look
be
like
arrested.
that?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take our last ad break, and then we're going to do a draft. I think we're going to save that DC overhaul for the next newscast because that could go on for a little long. So we're going to take our ad break. We're going to do the draft, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So yes, how this is going to work is we're going to do the draft, and this is going to be probably our shortest. Oh God, don't even. S-Bubs with a great message here. We should team up and do some good. We should team up with some guys and do some good. Yeah, we should. And Wanda's like, sure, I'm into robots, but I guess, And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, Christine's dead, so I'm down to do anybody, But so how this is going to work, this is going to be our shortest draft ever because we will have a winner in a few weeks from now. Taylor won't be on, so it'll just be me versus Kirklin, which is fine because we know Taylor would have just picked different versions of Ghostfire each 10. But what we're doing with this 10, and Kirklin, go pick up the random spinning one. Oh, Dilmas, I love a good draft. Yes, and that's what we do because, as you've noticed, I think I'm almost out of ideas. I think I still want to try and figure out more because, as we've said before, we did a survey last year, and there's lots of things that were like, oh, we love this, but for a concept, the things that came like what we really love, people was all like, we love when you guys do the drafts, which is great because it's just we like Doom, and it's like the most sports like Gauntlet we get to compete. We don't get to compete at the podcast, so this is the closest to, and it's fun like kind of putting these on the geek world. So what we're going to do is me and Kirklin, I thought that was the third person popping up. I'm like, who the fuck is that? So me and Kirklin are going to draft 10 characters. Now, these 10 characters are going to be just like Spider-Man No Way Home, where it was Andrew, Toby, and the, Vicious 5 or whatever it is. They have to be outside of the sacred timeline. And same way in a way where it's tough when you get to like a Loki and stuff like that because he technically is, but we're talking more like we want legacy. This is the best way of saying it. It's Marvel legacy casting. It's who we think could make a appearance that was in a Marvel movie outside the MCU. That's what I'll say. If they were in a Marvel movie but it's not MCU, those are the people we're drafting. Or it could be like Kirkland if he wanted to pick, hey, I think Iron Man is going to be played by Tom Cruise. You could do that. It's just someone's making their first appearance in the MCU. So hit that wheel, Kirkland. We're going to find out who goes first. I feel like our first 5 are going to be very similar and strong. Like, oh, I had that. And then it's those last 5. Oh, no!
Oh, that was
the
intense.
Wheel.
That
Oh
was
my
crazy.
god, the wheel was just on me. Like just a second away.
I blew on it a little bit to push it over. That was awesome.
Oh man. So SBUB says so Inhumans doesn't count. So Kirklin could say like this, like I would say
I know so little about Inhumans.
yeah, I'm not drafting any Inhumans either, but like that one stuff because here's the thing, like would you count if you were to say not this would happen, but like Kirsten Ritter's Jessica Jones, like because it's not MCU, but it is like
I would say yes,
Daredevil,
that's applicable. Like that's definitely possible.
that
Daredevil.
counts? Okay. Because we still don't know
Is Daredevil in the sacred timeline.
We don't know.
Now?
They've not specified if the show is or isn't yet. We're still
But
waiting.
he
for
was
that.
in No Way Home, and that
Yeah.
was set in the sacred timeline.
But it could just
that
be
wasn't
like
in a multiverse.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like it could just be like J.K. who's playing the same character again, but it's different version.
Oh,
right,
because we don't know yet.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
don't know. So that's why I think we're probably gonna
Character
stay.
design looked very similar, same glasses.
Yeah, I know.
Is that stretching too much? Maybe.
And that's why I think we'll play it safe with going on those really like the ones in the middle. That's kind of tough because we don't even know the answer of that, right? So I think we're gonna go the widespread. So Kirkland Pats or
It's 5, right?
Pick. I said 10.
Okay.
There's
No, I had
there's
10.
no
I thought you said
Taylor.
5 earlier.
Oh yeah, it's no Taylor, so we can pick away. So go ahead. You get first slot. I'll write these down.
First slot. Okay. There's a lot of good first picks here. I'm gonna be the dirty bastard and go Peggy Carter.
Yeah, Captain Carter. Yeah, and this is where too again people might be like, oh well, she's in the MCU. We're going live action Peel because obviously she's not debuted in live action yet. So yeah, I can't be mad at you.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at you for that. She was legitimately my very first one there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, same.
so you know, I'll just take the next first one that I feel is very possible. We've talked about him for a while. There's been mixed rumors of him being in it or not, but I'm gonna take Deadpool.
That was my number 2.
I still feel like, and here's the thing I will say. If the only way Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness could get away with the comedic end credit scene is if it was Deadpool, because it would be so outside the wall, fourth wall, kind of separate to its own thing. I think you could do it. So, and obviously Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. I don't think it'd be like, yeah, Bruce Campbell's Deadpool. But yeah, I'm picking Deadpool as my number 1 draft pick to get an appearance. And as usual, drafts goes, we'll see the movie, and then whoever has the most appearances will get the W. And this one's just for pride, because there's no, unless there's a Multiverse Madness 2 next year, there's no sequel or anything like that. So this is just for pride. So Kirkland, what was your second pick?
My second pick, well, it would have been Deadpool, but
Yep.
Since he's off the board, I think I'm gonna go Michael B. Jordan's Human Torch.
Michael B. Jordan's Human Torch. Wow.
Human Torch. This is like a fun one. I really, really think it would be hilarious to have him in there. I just want to see Michael B. Jordan back in the MCU. I know he's going to be in Black Panther 2, but I think it would be hilarious if he's actually the Human Torch variant. I know I'm picking it early, but I don't know. I feel like our lists kind of differ, hopefully. But anyways, Michael B. Jordan.
Well, then I'm going to take third verse, and I'm going to take Chris Evans' Human Torch, because I think that one's much more likely than that,
okay.
because we had heard rumors that Chris Evans was going to be back in the MCU making some appearances. Now, I do think some of those could be old Cap, could be a different Captain America project, but I think Multiverse of Madness is a prime position for him to appear as this, and I think it would be funny, because Doctor Strange would land in some multiverse, and he'd be like, Captain America? And then... nope, flame on, and it's like Chris. And he's like, oh, like I look like. There's so many jokes you can make, so that's why I'm gonna go Chris Evans, Human Torch. That's my second pick.
I like that we both had a Human Torch at least.
Mhm.
Chris Evans wasn't even on my list, so that's a good pick that you had at least. But I want my boy Michael Jordan. Oh no, Michael B. Jordan. Shouts out to Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2, great cameo. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. So number 3 pick, right? I'm gonna take. Again, this is one from my heart. I'm going to take Edward Norton's Hulk.
Oh, my God.
I don't think it's likely because I feel like there was a falling out or something between him and Marvel, but still, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And
I know people are they're going to ding Kirkland be like, well, he was already in the MCU. I think Kirkland's saying like this would be like him playing a variant, right? Like, right? It's like him making a It's not, because technically,
technically,
I would still count. To me, Edward Norton make an appearance, that would be a massive cameo because they did have a falling out. I think the rumor was like Edward Norton kind of wanted some say on the final edit, and they didn't let him do that, and yada yada yada. But I would count because he would be playing a variant. Then he wouldn't be playing Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I think he'd be like, oh, this is a Hulk in a different universe, and man, that would be huge if they could nap that down.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting that movie technically isn't in.
Yeah, technically Mark
timeline,
Ruffalo is playing Edward Norton's Hulk. Like it's the same character. Yeah,
it's just like with War Machine, right? Forgetting Don Cheadle. And,
Terrence Howard. Yeah,
exactly.
Next time, baby.
Yeah, I guess we have Abomination too in Shang-Chi there. So there you go.
No, he's the same guy though.
Yeah,
Tim Roth's still playing. Oh, you mean from that movie?
I forgot that character. You know, it all comes back to Hulk, the original MCU movie. Did that come out before Iron Man? 2008.
After. Oh, they were only like 2 months apart or something. Yeah, they were really bold, and Incredible Hulk didn't do that well. And it was like it was really weird. Like now they say some 4 months apart, but yeah, Iron Man and Hulk were like 2.5 months apart. I was like, what are we doing here? Like I was happy for it, but it was crazy that they did that so early on. And I think they learned like, okay, we need some space between these movies. Okay, you know what? I didn't have this on my list at all, but I'm going for the meme pick, and because Kirkland's being bold, I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say the meme has gone around 4 years, and there's going to be no longer next time, baby. It's going to be right now, because if you think
so good,
if you think of a multiverse where Doctor Strange is in trouble, and same thing, Terrence Howard, the same thing as Marvel, they had a big falling out, blah 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 blah. But
asked for more money, didn't he? Is that was the situation?
Well, yeah, because in the first Iron Man, he technically got paid more than Downey because he was a bigger star, and Downey had this was Downey coming off all those drug problems and issues and everything, right? Yeah. So it's like he's a flight risk for Terrence Howard, established star, stuff like that. So the thing is, I always I try the same thing in life, and I feel like Feige and Marvel would be this, regarding people doing actual crimes, things like that. I think that, or saying something very, very, racial sensitive, sexual sensitive, stuff like that, sexual orientation sensitive, sorry. I don't think he's off limits, and I think that you just got to take the Vince McMahon route of like, what do the people want, And at the end of the day, you look at Vince McMahon's career, he has so many falling outs with other wrestlers, but at the end of the day, they always come back, or lots of them come back, because it's just put it aside, and you know what you can also do? Just make some more money together. And I think if they sat Terrence Howard down and said, you know what, this would be fun, like just to tie it all together. Again, he'd be playing a variant, but just come in, and they would have to play it lame. The same way that they did Willem Dafoe, where he said, like, I'm something of a scientist myself. They were cognizant of the meme. They knew what was shared around. People use the Next Time Baby so much for stuff, and what I would love in a universe is where Doctor Strange is dead to rights, or like this, let's say there is this universe, and we haven't even drafted him. Maybe I'm showing my cards. I'm not drafting him because I'm so iffy on if this rumor is true about the Tom Cruise thing, right? But let's say there's an evil Iron Man, and it is played by Tom Cruise, and in that world, the hero's War Machine, and he lands and kicks some ass, and that helmet comes up, and it's Terrence Howard. That theater would go fucking nuts, and then he would just say something about he'd say like, I'm here, baby. Like they'd have some line to play on the Next Time Baby line. Or even then, you know what would happen? No, this is what happened. He'd save Doctor Strange, and let's say there's lots of bad shit going on, and Doctor Strange about to go through this portal, and Strange would be like, you want to come with me? And Terrence Howard would look and go, next time, baby, and then shoot off again. Like, I think it would be, that's one of those rare cameos where you're like, man, that'd be crazy. And this would be good. As I'm saying, a universe of all the recasted characters would be great. That'd be tons of fun, So that's who I'm getting. That's the one I have my least hope in. Like, I actually don't think it's going to happen, but I'm being bold. I'm putting it out there.
No, I love it. I mean, I'm getting wild over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think so. Pick number 4 here. I think the Duck is going to appear. I think it's going to be Seth Green's Howard the Duck.
But he's in the MCU though. He's in Guardians, remember?
Oh, fuck, he is.
Yeah, that's where he got
My
introduced.
mind was just thinking, what if?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, unapplicable there. Let's get wild again. You ready for this, Travis?
I'm ready.
I'm thinking X-Men here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking pretty iconic X-Men characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking female. I'm thinking maybe Halle Berry's Storm.
Okay.
Popping through somewhere. I think she's got enough star power for that role that everyone would know who that is right away, and that would get people going. don't really know what she's up to these days, but she could get a nice wig going.
She directed a movie for Netflix. She's still acting too.
What was the movie?
It was something about her being an MMA fighter or something like that.
Okay.
So
I thought I knew about it, but that doesn't sound familiar at all.
it's on Netflix somewhere, So okay, Storm Halle Berry, yeah, I like that one. I think that's plausible. I think if we got Patrick Stewart, any of these X-Men are plausible, and that's why I'm gonna go the X-Men route. I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna pick Magneto. I'm gonna specifically pick the Ian McKellen Magneto. Now, I've been on record that I like Fassbender better. They're both great. They're both outstanding, but I like Fassbender a bit better. But I think that in the MCU, I know everyone's been like, oh, they're going to retcon. I really don't think they are going to retcon that, oh, her dad was secretly Magneto and blah, 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 blah. Especially in WandaVision, we had this emotional thing where she lost her parents with the missile. We got to see the actual scene. I know people always go, oh, well, they can say she's adopted. Maybe they will, but I think they're fine with being like, okay, our Wanda does not have Magneto as a dad. But they could use Ian McKellen to be from a world where Wanda is his daughter, and that can have some emotional stakes. And even when we were talking about earlier when Xavier might be like, oh yeah, in my universe, this Wanda's really dangerous. He could be talking about like, I had this daughter, some partially my fault, and I know what a Wanda Maximoff is capable if she's, push it the wrong way or something like that. So, because that's the thing where I would like Fassbender more, but you can't play up the father-daughter angle of Fassbender and Olsen. There's just not that much of an age difference there. Where the Ian McKellen, you could, and even more heartbreaking if you have one to just fuck them up too. So that's who I'm picking for my fourth pick my fifth pick is Ian McKellen's Magneto.
That's awesome. I love that pick. I mean, just the possibility of having Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen on screen again together. I think that's magical. I want that to happen for sure.
Who am I missing of yours? I got Captain Carter, Michael B. Jordan, Edward Norton's Hulk, and Halle Berry. Who am I missing?
That's it. How many have you drafted already?
I've drafted 5. Oh no, I haven't. I added my 5th one there accidentally. There we go. Okay,
what was it? What was it? Just in case.
You'll find out next.
Okay. Alrighty, here, folks. Some strategy comes in here. I'm like, who I think you might have. My list is so wild. I'm like, I don't think you'll have these ones, but I never know. I'm gonna take Evan Peters' Quicksilver from the Fox movies here. Did you have it?
Yeah, I had him in the lower tier because I do think there is some fun, almost redemption for Ralph Bohner. Like they could play it off, and I also
think they know that a lot of people didn't like that too.
Yes.
So that could be an opportunity to have this. I mean, on one hand, it's like they had it right there. Why didn't they just fucking put him in the main one? But I think since we got him in WandaVision as Ralph Bohner, I think it would be hilarious to have him as the Quicksilver role. Obviously, I'd want him to be a bigger role because I just love Evan Peters as that character. But I still think this is such a fun draft. We got Next Time Baby in there. We got Edward Norton.
I like S. Bubs is right now, baby. That's what he would say. Right now, baby. But to me, and here's where our picks could go together. Wouldn't it be great if it was Ian McKellen, Evan Peters, and we could talk to Wanda together, like her brother, the father, and stuff like that. There could be like a family meeting. The good thing is Wanda would see this guy and unfortunately think of Ralph Bohner, but think, I can't trust this guy because in one universe, this guy already fucked me over.
Yeah.
Why am I going to trust this Quicksilver and everything like that? So I would like that the same way. I know people go, oh, would they really retcon it? They didn't necessarily. Okay, they did retcon it. Look at Iron Man 3. They made Aldrich Killian. They made, oh, that's the Mandarin. And then later on years in Shang-Chi, like, oh, no, this is the real Mandarin. No, like, this is actually the Mandarin. So they could easily do that. And then it's kind of like a make good in a way. So I did have them. Not next, but I did have them.
Yeah.
I got to pick this for Taylor. I'm going to say Ghost Rider. Now, I'm not going to specify. Maybe that's a cheat, but
let's cheat. Come on, we clarified the rules. You got to specify who this would be.
Yeah. Then fine, I'll say Ghost Rider Nicolas Cage. I still think in my heart of hearts that it's just going to be the rider and we're not going to see the human actor. I really think they're going to do that, but I will say just for the draft's sake, I will pick Nicolas Cage because there could be one scene there. Obviously, he said, no, I'm not in it. Same did Andrew Garfield, but maybe get a quick shot of him. Nick Cage is a big star, and I'm not opposed to Nick Cage being in it. I just wonder if it's just like, we don't need an actor for this. Let's have Ghost Rider appear.
Yeah.
Because Ghost Rider could also, here's the thing, he could appear, and this is where I wouldn't get the point, he could appear as like the MCU's Ghost Rider. Like he could just be like, they go in a dimension where, this character is going to pop up and be in the movies from now on, not just as a cameo. But adding Nick Cage to the movie is never like a bad thing because it would be a fun moment for people. So I will pick that. I'm 50-50 on it, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Yeah, I had him as well. It's hilarious he said for Taylor. I literally wrote in my notes for Taylor, like Nick Cage, Ghost Rider. I don't think you're far off if we do get the Rider that it wouldn't be an actual person. I would give you the point, honestly, if it's not Nick Cage, Ghost Rider there. So number 6, is that where I'm at?
Number 6, yep.
Okay. Who do I want to take next here?
There's one I'm surprised doesn't come up for either of us.
So what's the haps with these Spider-Men? They are Sacred Timeline?
No, I think they would count as because they're not Sacred Timeline. They appeared in Sacred Timeline, but then they left.
Yeah, because my mind is like, Sony just has the Spider-Man now. They wouldn't be appearing here, but we're having fun with the draft. And what's more fun than taking Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
That was the one I was referring to. Yeah, fuck, I should have picked him next. Damn it.
I was on the newscast when you're like, I think we would get Tobey over Andrew. And So yeah, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
You got to put them back together too. It's Raimi and everything. Like, and the thing about
that was a big thing
with Tobey. It's interesting because you've had scoopers say that Tobey is definitely in it, and then you've had other scoopers oppose, say no, he's not in it. And there was a report last week that Tobey might have been in it, but he might be getting cut. That to me makes no fucking sense at all. Unless there's some contract dispute between Marvel and Sony. Why the fuck would you film with someone with Tobey and be like, you know what? Cut that. We don't need that. It's like, what? Like, unless maybe same thing. It's saving for another movie, something like that. But yeah, I think it's possible. I'm like a 51 for him being in it and a 49 for not. But yeah. All right, so let's get crazy here. This is one that's been rumored for years. People want it. I don't necessarily want it, but people want it, and lots of people think that it could actually happen. So I'm just gonna say fuck it and take a big jump. I'm gonna say we're gonna get John Krasinski as Mr. Richards.
I had him too.
I think it's gonna happen, and I think what we talked about. I remember we talked about this on After 9 when it happened, right? Where the rumors came out that Krasinski might be filming something. We don't know if it's for Doctor Strange, and it might be as Reed Richards, but the kicker was that it might be like a variant. It might not be Reed Richards. I remember this because we had a big conversation after 9 of like how risky that could be if they make him Reed Richards and they kill him off, and then they cast a new guy, and everyone's like, fuck this person. We want John Krasinski. And I think the only way they could get away with this, though, is if they make, there is in the Ultimate Universe, a Reed Richards that becomes pretty much a villain. Like, he's a bad guy. I think that's the route you got to take with this. Is John Krasinski is on the Illuminati, but let's say he's like maybe like the worst of them. Like, he's like a piece of shit type of guy. Even then, I think it's risky because people will still be like, oh, well, there's a good version of John Krasinski's Reed Richards out there. So I think they're playing a very dangerous game by putting a very popular actor, a very popular fan casted actor in this role. But the same way when they, like I said, they knew about the William Dafoe I'm a Scientist meme. They know how many people have like fan casted Krasinski in this role. So I think they will do it. And then I got 2 Fantastic Four people on my roster. I'm very surprised. But yeah, I think they'll do it. So
right on. Yep, I had him as well. I was on the fence on if I was going to take him just because the reasons that you laid out, like everybody would kind of possibly be hating on like the actual actor when we get there. But yeah, good pick.
Esbub says the one, that what I was referring to, the one about him being cut was total bait. I was like, I can't believe Marvel would disappoint the true fans like this. I don't think he's in the movie, but I don't think he ever was. And yeah, the only reason, because there were people of note saying he was, I just always thought there's 2 things. You got Raimi, but also we still just don't know when does Marvel get their next Spider-Man appearance then, right? That's the contract. 1 for them, 1 for you. Again, they know better than me. I just have no fucking clue when we're going to see a Spider-Man next. So I just thought, this would make sense. If Tobey's in here, that fulfills that contract. But again, if you look at, Civil War, Infinity War, and I guess not. I guess not Endgame, but 2 out of 3 they advertised, "Hey, Spider-Man's in this MCU movie. He's in this," but they didn't do that for Endgame, right? They didn't show him in any marketing, obviously, because he was snapped. But so, like I said, I'm always wanting more Toby, so I hope it happens.
Absolutely. All right. My next pick, number 7, right?
Yes, lucky number 7.
I mean, I've already been getting crazy. I don't even know why I have to like build up the courage on these picks. Let's take Wesley Snipes' Blade in here.
Okay.
I not confident on that one. I think it might be a little weird getting like the old Blade before we even see the new Blade like on screen. I know Mahershala Ali was casted in Eternals, like he's actually credited and we heard his voice, but
the word's
I don't
just
know.
cast. There's no casted. It's just cast.
He's cast. He was
He was
casted.
cast. No, he was cast.
I casted him into the water.
No, that's
Okay,
why
no,
it's
you're
not
right.
cast. It's cast. Yeah.
You're right. I'm just sore loser.
I'm not smart about many things, but at least with some film stuff, I can say, "Hey, I know this." But I've said cast a bunch too.
This is like purely just. I think it would be absolutely amazing to see Wesley Snipes again, like just wearing like the early 2000s leathers and everything. Give him a nice haircut too. So not confident on that pick, but still Wesley Snipes' Blade.
So here, because Kirklin is obviously taking a few of my picks, here's where we get into the picks that I am like not confident on really at all. Now, I'm going to pick this one because it's a safe pick. This might fuck me because it's one of these where I could be taking out one of my other picks, but still, I'm going to double down. I'm going to say Chris Evans, but as Hydra Captain America. Now, there's 2 routes this could go. Either I get both of them or I only get one. So I'm wasting a draft pick because let's say they say, "Hey, we're only bringing Chris Evans back for one thing." Then I'm like, well, I wasted it. But I am maybe ensuring that I for sure at least get 1 point. Just because now they did kind of do that in Endgame, but I just think that would be also a fun thing for Chris Evans to play. Not only the Human Torch thing, but to play an evil Captain America. I think that would be lots of fun. Now, at the same time, when you brought up Sam Wilson, I think they could save that down the line for something else. But still, maybe they go into a universe where he is just running over roughshod of a world and it's Hydra Captain America. So I'm putting my money on the Chris Evans slot there.
I like it. Gosh, I was gonna go another X-Men. Maybe I'll step away from the X-Men. I just want them in this so bad.
I know,
I'm like so just scratch at the bit for them to just enter the MCU, which is we're getting there, but not quite there yet. I don't think. I mean, hopefully for some of my picks at least. I'm just gonna take it off the board. Let's just get Tom Cruise in there as Iron Man. Why not?
I was thinking about it too. Yeah.
He was like high up on my list too, but I'm like, that's not actually gonna happen, right? It's so hard to fathom seeing Tom Cruise like in that armor, but if he is in the movie and I didn't draft him, I would have been so upset with myself.
It's just one of those things that still just sounds so outrageous, right? It sounds great on paper, but it sounds like, is this actually true? Like, did they actually do this? And it's still hard for me to grasp that concept of like Tom. And I'd be so happy, but like, could they actually have Tom Cruise in there? I don't know.
Number 8 for you.
Number 8, yeah. Again, I'm dipping into these are the more willing, and this is because now I've definitely, like I said, reached my picks of the believable. I think Chris Evans Hydra was my last, like, okay, I could feasibly see this happen. Maybe even Tom Cruise Iron Man. This is a hope. There was rumors about it, but there was even attached to those rumors, it was a 50-50 he could have turned it down. So who knows? But I just fucking want it so bad. I'm picking Ben Affleck's Daredevil because
you bastard.
I want to see him so bad because I've always said this that okay, yes, he is. Congrats, him and J-Lo are engaged again, and hopefully they have a happy life. But at the end of the day, he has kids, and obviously, and one thing you can hear about Ben Affleck, he talks about his kids a lot, so clearly he loves them. So I always thought that 1, it would be fun for him to go back in the sandbox. 2, he's previously many times talked about how he really respects Kevin Feige. And I know people have been like, oh, well, the past year he said he won't do any more blockbusters. He could have easily filmed this at any point or just film this as like a one-off, Because here's the thing. He did this for Kev Smith where they had a bad relationship and he still just went and filmed a few scenes for him. This would take a day of shooting, not even. And my point back to the kids is I think there's still something fun for maybe those kids now. The kids tease him about Daredevil. Like, he's talking about this in an interview. He's like, yeah, Daredevil's a bad movie, Dad. Like, that's not good. But I think how fun would it be for him to reprise the role where he met the mother of his children, you know? I think that would, for just like a family legacy thing for those kids, it would kind of be fun of like, yeah, it was bad, but like, cool. Like, look, it's like it's Dad being Daredevil again, because there's a good chance he might not be Batman again. So I think this one, if you were to ask me, is going to happen. I don't think so. I do believe he would have turned it down of being Devil's Advocate, but I want it. So I'm putting it out there that the Man Without Fear, played by Ben Affleck, will be back.
Right on. Yes, I mean, since you're just taking some of my picks, I'm taking some of your picks. My list is dwindling a little bit. I was thinking I was going to take the Affleck. It was one of those picks where, in my mind, I'm like, there's no fucking way he's actually going to be in there. But you had a good pitch there. I just feel like he's so fucking done with these superhero movies after the whole Batman ordeal. But switch over to MCU. Why not? Okay.
And it can just be a one-time thing. He doesn't have to do it ever again. Just like, hey, come in, have some fun for a day, and then you're done, you know?
Oh, exactly. Oh, I had one that wasn't even on my list. I just thought, oh no, I do have it on my list. Jeffrey Wright's The Watcher. Like, does that count? It's kind of all of the multiverses, so it might be a kind of a cheat a little bit.
Like we did say live action, and we got Peggy in there. It's like a mixture because like that's not a like. He doesn't have a variant technically because he's always the same guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm very in the middle. If you want to, I would allow it, even though I think it's a layup. I'm being nice because I think he will be in this movie, but I'm 50-50 on it. S-Bub says if Captain Carter counts, then the Watcher counts.
Okay, so, beautiful. Thank you, S-Bubs. Yeah, I'm gonna take him. Honestly, like it was low on my list. I felt weird about it, but you're taking a lot of my picks, so
yeah. That's what happens when we all have problems. We let Espos be the tiebreaker. We just send it off to him. We're like, we can't decide this huge small business thing. So this one just popped in my mind. I don't know why, but I saw it in the sphere. I'm like, I got to fucking go with it because I bet they could do it, and I bet it'd be lots of fun.
Sometimes the best picks.
Yeah. So here's maybe another crazy one. You had Edward Norton's Hulk, so I have Eric Bana's Hulk from the 2003 Ang Lee movie, because it's a thing of like, hey, let's say for some reason they couldn't get Edward Norton, well, we could get Eric Bana, and I think that could be fun. They go to a different universe where this Hulk all has stake as he runs into him. Now he's just playing Bruce Banner, obviously, but again, if we're just visiting multiverses and it's kind of crazy and weird, then sure, I think that it's possible, and I just had another good pick bringing to my mind, and I'm going to write that down because there's no way Kirklin Patcher thinks about this one. So I'm going to go Eric Bana's Hulk for my penultimate pick.
This one might be a throwaway pick. I mean, it probably is. No, let me rephrase that. This one's definitely a throwaway pick. This
is your final pick, and it's your throwaway pick, eh?
Like it is, because I kind of want to just have it in there for like the memes and actually have someone recording me say this. Lou Ferrigno's Hulk. Let's just get 3 Hulks in there. He's 70 years old. Probably doesn't have the body to just be full green, but I think that would be so fucking hilarious if they did that. And yeah, let's just get 3 Hulks in there.
I still think the only way you could be possible is, I can't remember when we've talked about this at some point, if it was someone in the chat or a question or something, but we talked about, I think it was maybe in the Loki discussions of imagine if they went to a world where everyone had the classic costumes.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I think you could have Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, where you have people with the classic cap, classic Iron Man, stuff like that. And you could get people like, I was going to maybe draft him, but I had this last one pop in. Like, you could get like David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury, because you may not know this, but he played Nick Fury in like a movie in like the 90s. Yeah. And I'm not going to draft him, but like you could do a team of that. So when S-Bub's 100% Raimi-verse with Eric Bana and Toby, like all those posters, like, man, I wish we could have got this. And it's like the original Marvel movies of them of the Avengers. Like, fuck, like as a kid, I dreamed about that stuff, Yeah. So I'm going to end it off with something that I will credit to Chris Balga, and this is off of some rumors, but he had this idea, he's been talking about this for a while, that the Xavier that we're going to meet is from maybe the actual X-Men animated series. But I think we're going to get Wolverine from the animated series in this movie. Because we've seen the trailer at one point when they're switching universes, they're going into cartoon. And as everyone's pointing out, they're rebooting X-Men 97. And what is it called? It's not called X-Men 97s. It's called Marvel Studios X-Men 97. So I think that they go into a universe, and this is where you're not. And it's funny, none of us, like, it's so funny. We started to go down to Lou Ferrigno and Eric Bana. Neither of you and I picked Hugh Jackman. That's how much we believe Hugh Jackman is not going to be in this.
Actually, I had Daniel Radcliffe in my head. I'm like, no, that's too wild.
But for me saying an anime, because I thought about, like, out of all the animated things, if Marvel's gonna have something from an animated universe appear in this movie, that is like the most iconic of the series is the X-Men 97. Everyone talks about how great it is, that Wolverine costume. So that's my prediction, is the animated Wolverine from 97 will appear in here, because we're not going to get a Hugh Jackman, because I legitimately don't think we will. I know there were rumors that they apparently talked to him, they pitched him, and I will always say, if they did that, that is the biggest one. I know there's like Tom Cruise and Edward Norton, but I think that would be the biggest one, because he's been so certain of, like, I've had my time, I did it and everything like that. So Wolverine, X-Men,
really good
Cameo.
pick. I like that one a lot. That one moment when they cut to the cartoon, it's such a short, like, very, very quick glimpse in the trailer, but I like that pick a lot. And honestly, I think you might be onto something.
As opposed to you saying, you can clarify in the chat, is this Eric Bunny says, I think he hates the MCU because they made Hulk a nerd or something. That's just so weird. Like, why do actors really care too much?
Dude,
but,
bro. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like, yeah, he's not a cool Hulk like me, but at the same point, throw him some money. I'm sure he'd come back. So Kirklin Patzer's list is Captain Carter, Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch, Edward Norton's Hulk, Halle Berry's Storm, Evan Peters' Quicksilver, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Neither of us picked Andrew either. It's funny. Wesley Snipes' as Blade, Tom Cruise's Iron Man, The Watcher, and Lou Ferrigno's Hulk. Oh, Lou Ferrigno said he made him a big nerd. That sounds like a Lou Ferrigno comment. 100%. Dude, bro, because he's a big muscle head. You know?
100%. I had one in my mind too. I'm like, honestly, if this was like, if we're in this golden age of comic book stuff, and it was just years ago, I think he's too old now to not reprise the role, but just be in the role, which I think would be really funny, would be Leo DiCaprio as Spider-Man. I think that could be so fun on screen.
That would be a hard one to get him to do that.
100%. Yeah.
But you know what? We did get Brad Pitt as the Vanisher in Deadpool 2 for like a quick second. So, it's all. They should bring
he's
him
doing
back.
Bullet Train now too. He's kind of doing everything.
Fuck, I should have picked him, because I could have said, look, he's right there. You just can't see him. He's in the scene. He's in this battle.
Wouldn't have given you that point.
And then my picks are Deadpool, Chris Evans as Human Torch, Terrence Howard as War Machine, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Ghost Rider played by Nicolas Cage, John Krasinski as Reed Richards, Chris Evans Hydrocap, Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Eric Bana as the Hulk, and Wolverine 97. So yeah, we'll see. Well, in 3 weeks, I'll be excited. I don't know if we'll do this on the review, because we'll probably do this the one after, because I'm sure the review is going to be super long. But the newscast after, I think we'll go over the winners, and probably it'll be a good idea. We'll have to update our MCU draft as well, because right now I'm the only one with points, because Moon Knight's the only thing that's aired. So I'm rocking first place, 25 points now with my Moon Knight appearance. Just give me a nice end credit cameo of Blade, and fuck, I'm getting some end credit and surprise points. Let's go. But I
got Doctor Strange, so I got some guaranteed points at least.
You're gonna have lots of points coming up. Everybody is. So this was a fun one, and like I said, we're gonna talk about that DC comic next week, just because I did not think we talked that much about Doctor Strange, but we did, because there's just so many possibilities. But this was a good one, Kirklin. I thank you for joining me on this pre-long Easter weekend.
Tons of fun. As I was saying, last 2 nights I was up way too late. I was feeling really tired after that Halo review, so I hit my stride though. It's fun talking about Doctor Strange, and the drafts are awesome. As Bubs he said, I would have totally drafted Domino and Cable. I was itching with Cable, because I thought Josh Brolin coming back would be really fun.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
Non-Thanos.
I don't think Domino fits. I think Cable's a possible, but again, I still feel like they're almost saving. Like, I feel like if they were there, then Deadpool has to be there. I don't think they would do them without maybe Cable, because Josh Brolin, you get that joke, but I just feel like Deadpool has to come first, and then they follow. So, But yeah, as I've said, like obviously later on this year in July, we'll be doing the superhero draft where we got to redraft actors, everything like that. But for most drafts, I think we're pretty close to being done. So we're always open. If you guys got any ideas, stuff like that, let us know. I'm always tinkering, but I'll be excited next year when we got all these endings and everything like that to see who's won what, who's won everything. You know, you got a nice, good lead in the video game draft. I haven't even, well, I think I got a nice, good lead in the box office draft because I had Scream. And, no, you had the Batman, didn't you? Fuck, you had the Batman.
I had the Batman,
yeah.
but you had something that was just skyrocket. I can't remember now.
Not Morbius, but I got Doctor Strange coming up, so that's gonna be my bread and butter. So lots of things happening. Thank you very much. If you're listening to this after the Easter weekend, we hope you had a good Easter weekend. If you are before, then we hope you have a good Easter weekend. And we'll be back next week. Newscasts, side quests, which I'll be on this week. Moon Knight reviews, tons of stuff. Northman, and I promise you, not be boring.
Peace.